Week 11, the dreaded game week where someone has a nice fixture that a certain someone doesn't own, but we'll get around that and we're going to have a good game week. Positive vibes only, green arrows all around. And if anyone says anything otherwise, you're blocked and reported. But good to see you in the chat. Lots and lots of regulars, some new faces that maybe we haven't seen before. But welcome. If you're new or you're a regular, thank you for being here. I'll be answering as many of your Game Week 11 questions as possible and hopefully helping you to get a green arrow. That's always the aim. Morning, Claudette. Good morning, Kieran. Mateus, Jason in the chat. FPL Cats, as always, good to see you. FPL Meerkat, just comments the egg. Love to see it. Ruben, Hayden. I've got loads of regulars. Lots of people I've seen already in the chat, like 3 or 4 asking about bench boost. I don't hate it, but there are certain things that I don't like, which we will discuss in today's stream. But, I mean, if you've got a feeling about something, you've got a feeling, you know? Very hungover, but I'm here. This is why I don't drink. That's why I don't drink. Saturday hangover's not the one. Although I suppose if you're just sitting in bed listening to me, it could be worse. Although I'm probably not helping your hangover, I'll be entirely honest. Sam with the super chat just says Erling Haaland hat-trick robot. Nice. He's just commented all the words that I muted on Twitter. Do you know what, Sam? I'll allow it because you did a super chat. DCL is the one. I would love Calvert-Lewin. I would love him. I think Calvert-Lewin will score this week. My prediction. That is my prediction. Right. Do you know what? Let's waste no time because I actually need your help this week. I don't know who to bench. I really don't. I'm struggling. I know this is what happens when you have 8 good attackers and I don't have Haaland, yada, 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 but I'm in this position. So I do need to bench one of these 8 attackers. And I also don't know who to start out of Trippier and Gahey, which when I say that on paper sounds ridiculous, right? You start the £7 million defender with attacking threat playing in one of the best defenses in the league. But something that I like to do sometimes when I'm struggling with who to play in my team is I like to predict the result. Because I think sometimes we can be really blinded by the player we own. We can be really biased. But if you were to say to me, predict the Arsenal versus Newcastle result, I think I would go 2-1 Newcastle or 2-1 Arsenal, or maybe like 1-1. So I don't think there'll be tons of goals, but I think both teams will score. If that's the case, should I not just bench Trippier? Right? If I expect Arsenal to score and I don't think Newcastle will get tons of goals, the best you are getting from Trippier is probably 1 attacking return. Yes, he could get bonus. And so, yes, if he does get that assist, he still could come away with 8 or 9 points. But I suppose it's probably unlikely that Trippier comes away with a monster haul unless he absolutely smashes it. However, I also don't think that Saka is very good away from home. In fact, I know Saka's not very good away from home. His data in the past few games hasn't been great. And I also don't expect Arsenal to score many goals because Newcastle are a brilliant defence at home. So in that case, do I just bench Saka? And if I'm benching Saka, maybe I just back the Newcastle clean sheet. The other option I've got is just saying I have no idea which way the Newcastle game's going to go. I can either bench both of them like this and just say, do you know what? I'm not even going to try and predict it. I'll just bench Saka and Trippier and hope that it's like a 1-1 draw with goals from, I don't know, like Longstaff and Jorginho or something. Or I go the other way and say, because I can't predict it and they're both great assets, what I should do instead is just start Trippier and Saka and bench like Maddison and Gahey. I know that sounds like I'm overthinking it, and I definitely am overthinking it. But I'm like, I don't really know what to do in this situation. I've never been so stuck with benching decisions. I've had a look at the projected points, and assuming that you adjust for minutes, the best 2 players to bench are supposedly Bowen and Gahey. Or Gay. Apparently I say his name wrong. I do apologise. Those are apparently the 2 best players to bench would be Bowen and Gahey. No, I don't love the idea of benching Bowen because he's scored in every single away game this season. But I can understand why that would be the case. I think Maddison and Saka are inherently better assets than Bowen, but I just think the fixture maybe is slightly better for Bowen. So there you go. That's where I'm at the moment. I think for the time being, I'm roughly... Where am I? Yeah, I would say at the moment, I'm leaning benching Saka just because he absolutely stinks away from home normally anyway. And I don't think he's looked quite at it in the last couple. I mean, he only put up... What was the data for it? In a 5-0 win against Sheffield United, he only put up 0.06 XGI. The game before that against Chelsea, when Arsenal scored 2, he put up a 0.16 XGI. So, and look, if you look away from home, right? This is confirmation bias, okay? So, away from home this season for Saka, this is his data. 0.27 XGI, 0.14 XGI. Absolutely smashed it against Bournemouth, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that was a penalty. So if you remove the penalty, we're at about 0.61 XGI, which is much better, and then a 0.16 XGI. So basically, he's not good away from home. It was the same last season as well, and they're playing Newcastle. It feels horrible benching Saka. And to be honest, I never get Saka right. Every time I think Saka's going to do badly, he does well, and vice versa. So he could smash it. I'm not convinced. So that's where we're at. Apparently it wasn't a penalty. Okay, then he just had a very, very good game against Bournemouth. So forgive me for that then. Okay, so this is the outlier here. But obviously, it's Bournemouth, not Newcastle. Saka's up against Burn, though. He always plays well against him. Does he? I wouldn't know that. I would just say, though, Newcastle conceded the fewest chances down their left flank where Burn plays. So Newcastle were actually strongest on the left-hand side. Yo, did we play at Spurs Academy together? I don't know. What's your name? Because it's not Savage X. What's your actual name? Let me know and I can tell you. Who's a premium defender we should bring in? Premium defender? None. Reece James, if he's fit. No, I don't think there are any premium defenders I would want at the moment. Saliba is probably as expensive as I would go, in all honesty. Alvarez captain? Not for me. Not for me. His data's just not overly there. And we saw against Manchester United, even when Man City smash it, Alvarez isn't necessarily involved. Whereas I genuinely think it's impossible for Man City to score 3 goals and Haaland not get anything. I don't even think it's difficult. I quite literally think it's impossible because he parks his bum in the 6-yard box. He has to get involved in some regard. So with Haaland, if you think a team are going to score 3 goals, which I'll be honest, I would be extremely shocked if City don't put at least 3 or 4 past Bournemouth, Haaland has to get at least 1. I'm not saying he'll go out in a haul. I think he will, but I'm not saying that's a definite, but he has to get at least 1 or 2. Whereas I don't think Alvarez does. We've seen that on a few occasions this season. When City score a few goals, Alvarez can blank. Have there been any other games? Yeah, I mean, maybe not too many then. So the 3-0, we obviously got no returns and very, very little involvement. Most of the other games, actually, when City have put a few in, Alvarez has got something, but not necessarily hauled. I mean, Alvarez hasn't hauled much at all this season, has he? 14 points against Fulham. Outside of that, a couple of 9-pointers and 8-pointer. I think there are better captains than Alvarez for me. I said this in my deadline decisions video. I think I would go Haaland, Salah, Darwin, Alvarez. So for me, Alvarez would be the 4th best captain. But let's say you don't have Haaland and you don't want to captain Salah. In that situation, I suppose I don't mind an Alvarez captaincy. Good morning, Ross. Start one of Burn, Taylor, Lamptey. I'd go Dan Burn. I'd start Burn. I think all of those will concede. I have Saka in my team. Okay, sorry. I have Saka in my team. I don't think that matters. I think I would just start the defender you think has the greatest chance for a clean sheet. Probably rolling in captain Haaland. Very nice. Rami, good luck, mate. I think that sounds really nice. Tanish with a super chat says, back in Game Week 9, I was slated in the comments, including you, for saying Tsimikas was going to be a must-own. Now he's suddenly a must-own. So I feel like this is my Nigel Farage, you all laughed at me moment. I will say 2 things on that. I don't think I've ever slated someone in any of my comments for saying something. And the second thing is he's still not essential. There is nothing about Tsimikas which is essential. Is Tsimikas one of the best defenders? Yes, I agree, Tanishk. I think he is, but he's not essential. He's got limited attacking threat, decent chance for clean sheets, but as soon as Robertson's back then, he's a transfer waiting to happen, isn't he? Charlie Strick says, just bought your book, Ross. I'm loving it so far. Thank you very much, Charlie, and thank you for the super chat. That's very kind of you. I'm glad you're enjoying the book. Lucas says, Solanke to Nketiah. Yep, I don't mind that. I don't think Nketiah is a great option this week, but certainly Burnley at home next week. And then beyond that, Arsenal's fixtures are pretty good. We've got Mateus says -4 to get rid of Ward-Prowse, and for who? Yes, I would get rid of Ward-Prowse. I don't mind doing that for a hit because I just don't think he's an option now. I think Palmer and Adingra are really nice at the cheaper prices. I still don't mind Gordon, but I think if you can stretch to Matoma or Mbermo, I would go there. And I think Mbermo would be my favourite option if you can get there. Stefan or Stephen. I'll go Stefan, I think. Thoughts about planning ahead for Game Week 13? I think people are worrying too much about Game Week 13. Everyone's teams are going to look really, really weak, right? Because a lot of the players are playing... We'll look at that in a second, but a lot of the players are playing against each other, and most of the key defenders have poor fixtures. No one's going to have a team, unless you're free hitting in that week, where it looks perfect. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. The team doesn't have to look perfect on paper. I think we're fine. But yeah, there are certain players, like I think Palace and maybe West Ham have good fixtures in that week. So maybe if you're looking for players to bring in, maybe you do start to think about Game Week 13 a little bit. But it's only one game week. I wouldn't start changing your plans massively just for that. Would you do Watkins and Maddison to Haaland and Matoma for a -4? Would I do Watkins and Maddison to Haaland and Matoma for a -4? Maybe. Yeah. It depends. If you really don't want to go without Haaland any longer, if you feel like you've made a mistake, then do it. But look at the next 4 fixtures after Bournemouth. I don't think I've made a mistake going without Haaland. Do I want Haaland this week? Absolutely. Will he smash it this week? Absolutely. But I think this is just a general point about FPL management. We are so blinded by the game week in front of us that sometimes we can't step away and see the bigger picture. I am not saying that my team this week will outscore, but across the next 5, I quite fancy my chances. And that's the way you've got to view it. But I think basically if you've taken him out and you're like, do you know what, I'm not enjoying FPL, I'm just worried constantly, I can't watch the football, I just want him back in my team, then go for it. I'm never going to put you off of bringing him back in. I just think nothing has changed that should alter your plan. If your plan was to go without until Game Week 16, I see you go without until 16 because nothing's changed. I hope that makes sense. Good morning, Ross. Thoughts on Diaz playing tomorrow? I think he'll be on the bench, but he could start. I unfortunately don't know. I know that he's going to be available, but I don't know available to start or on the bench. And then Matoma/Adingra likely replacement or a punt on Jota. I wouldn't punt on Jota because I think that's another transfer waiting to happen. Unless you are happy doing that. I would bring in Brian Mbermo, honestly. But if you're not going to go in Mbermo, I do prefer Matoma to Adingra. I think he's just more nailed and I think he's a slightly greater goal threat. So I would go like Mbermo, Matoma, Adingra, Jota. Hardcore Rally says, hey, Rappy. Hello. Hope you're good. One of my accounts, I don't own any City assets. Alvarez in for Ferguson. And he Chan out for either Foden or the one literally overlooked Bilva. Just imagine they blank Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva is just not an FPL option. In any given week, yes, he can smash it. His data is just always really, really poor. I like Alvarez in. I think Foden is definitely a better pick than Bernardo Silva, but Foden's data recently hasn't been great either. I think the City assets is Haaland, Alvarez, Foden, and then Bernardo Silva way down. But if you want to take a little punt, I don't hate it. He's just not got really good data, is the issue. Good morning. Start Fabian Schär, Udogie, or Taylor? Ooh. I would start, honestly, probably Fabian Schär, because he actually carries some goal threat too. Diaz and Udogie to Tsimikas and Diaby, Matoma, ? Diaz and Udogie to Tsimikas and Diaby or Matoma. I like Tsimikas and Matoma. Yeah, flexbox, I'd do that. Should I start Wilson or Diaby? I'd honestly start Callum Wilson. On penalties, I think Newcastle will score and Arsenal concede most of their chances through the centre of the pitch. So I think Wilson has a decent chance of returning. I also don't think Villa are going to put too many goals past Nottingham Forest. So I would actually start Wilson there. Anurag says, thoughts on for a -4, Luis Diaz, Richarlison and Pedro Porro to Tsimikas, Matoma and 8.1 to spend on the second mid, maybe Bailey for now. I wouldn't go Bailey myself. I think if I had 8.1 for a midfielder right now, oh, that's a difficult question. 8.1 for a midfielder. Foden, if you want a 1 week punt. Bowen's still fine. I would, again, boringly, I know he's not got the best fixture over the next few. I would go Brian Mbeumo in that spot. I think if you're looking for a midfielder and you don't have Mbeumo, I'm actually tempted this week to do Maddison to Mbeumo in my team. Because I think longer term, I think Mbeumo is an equally decent option as Maddison, but obviously quite a bit cheaper. So I'm tempted by Mbeumo this week. And he's got a great fixture this week, West Ham at home. We're not expecting clean sheets for Areola, let's be honest. I think Mbeumo could do very well again. David Robertson says, thoughts on Crystal Palace assets with the upcoming fixtures? I've taken a risk with Edouard up top with Darwin as captain. I love the Darwin captain. I don't mind Edouard, and Eze could be back this weekend. He's available to be in the squad. If Eze's back, Eze's a serious option. I mean, let's take a look at Crystal Palace's fixtures. It's one of the reasons I wanted Gahey in my wildcard draft. They've got Burnley, Everton, Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth. I mean, after that, diabolical fixtures for, I mean, quite a while. Apart from that Sheffield United fixture, that's a horrid run. But for the next 5 game weeks, really, really nice. And then you can look to maybe move them on after that. But Eze is always the one for me if you're going to go for a Palace attacker, if you can. Connell says, bench Saka, Diaby or Bowen? Bench one of them. Oof. I maybe Saka. That's the way I'm leaning at the moment. But I really don't know. I mean, that is really a 50-50 one. I have no idea. Have to bench one of Bowen, Maddison, Diaby. These are such difficult decisions. Honestly, maybe Diaby. Nah. Maybe I'm saying that just because I don't own him. Diaby, Maddison, or Bowen. I have a feeling that the Spurs-Chelsea game could be low scoring. Something like 1-1, 2-1. But we've spoken about this before. 1 goal for Spurs is likely to involve Maddison or Son. So you don't need Spurs to score 4 or 5 goals like you maybe do with a Man City where the goals are a little bit more spread around. I'd maybe bench Maddison there. Saka to Foden 1 week punt, then next week reverse it. I don't know. So I value a transfer as being worth 4 points. The reason for that is if in the future you have to take a hit because you've just used a free transfer, it is worth 4 points. So I know it doesn't always cost you 4 points, but I value a transfer at 4 points. If you are saying you want to do Saka to Foden and then Foden to Saka, you are telling me that you think Foden will outscore Saka by 8 points this week. He genuinely well could, but are you confident enough on that? If Saka gets a single assist and a 5 or 6 pointer, you're needing Foden to get like 14 plus points just to make back those 2 transfers. So unless you really think Saka will blank and you think Foden will get a big haul, I don't like him. Mohammed says, hello, stuck with a couple of benching decisions. Pedro Porro versus Trippier and Diaby versus Bowen. I would start Bowen and I reckon Pedro Porro's got a greater chance for a clean sheet, though. Do you know what? I might start Porro and Bowen. I think Bowen's involved in a high percentage of West Ham's goals, so I like him for that reason. And I think Porro's got a greater chance for a clean sheet than Trippier, because I think Chelsea are slightly weaker in attack than obviously Arsenal. So I would go Porro and Bowen there, Mohammed. But again, they are 2 50-50 decisions that I could have got terribly wrong there. What should I do with Diaby now and in the future? To keep Diaby for the next 2 games, then sell Diaby. It's as simple as that, I think. Unless he looks amazing in the next 2 and keeps scoring and scoring and scoring, I think you keep him for the next couple of nice fixtures and then you move him on. I did just want to make a comment quickly about nailed players. One sec, my bald head's really itchy. There is a period coming up with fixtures. Let me just click on Saka as an example. It's game weeks here, 14 to 16. We've got, look, you can see here, Sunday the 3rd, Wednesday the 6th, Saturday the 9th. So some teams are going to be playing 3 games in 6 days, essentially. There is going to be rotation galore in 14 to 16. So I don't know if now, maybe now because it's 11 and you've still got 3 weeks, but moving into game week 12, I'll discuss this in the videos coming up. This is not the time to be buying rotation risks, I don't think. So maybe this week, for example, let's take Darwin. I love Darwin. And this set of 3 fixtures here, if he can start 2 of them, great. But I wouldn't maybe start buying Darwin here just because 2 tricky fixtures going into a period where expecting to be rotated. But obviously this week, Luton. So I would say this is maybe the final week where you want to start thinking about buying rotation risks. And it makes the likes of Mbeumo, Bowen, Watkins, those kind of players absolutely brilliant because they just won't get rotated ever. Salah's another example of someone like that. Haaland is another example. Why he's so brilliant is he just doesn't ever get benched, which is great. And that isn't a jinx. I would eat my hat if he gets benched in any of these fixtures here, Haaland. He just won't. So I think if you can buy players that are absolutely nailed on at the moment for minutes, it's great. It's another reason that I still love Maddison and Son, and I'm reluctant to sell them because they, again, will just start every game. So I don't know why I started talking about that, but yeah, just be careful about 14, 15, 16. You've got 3 game weeks in very, very quick succession. Ross, what your symmetry? Oh, yeah. All right, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, that's really poor of me. I do apologise. Let's do that, and then let's do that. There we go. The master of symmetry. Excellent. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm glad you told me to do that. The team's looking much better. I actually need to change my vice captain back to Alvarez, though. I know you might be saying, why are you vice captaining Alvarez if you think Darwin's a better captaincy option? I don't like to captain and vice captain from the same game. Let's say, completely random example, there's no reason for me to believe. Let's say there's riots outside the Luton Town game and it just all gets called off. And my captain and vice captain, Salah and Darwin, I would have no captain. So I tend to try and make my vice captain from a different game. I think that's been more so the case in previous years, like COVID and like different weather postponements and stuff like that have been more likely. Now it's significantly less likely, but I just don't want to take a risk. There's no need for me to take the risk. So, benching decisions. Let me see. I should have kept that graphic, shouldn't I? Have I still got that graphic? Right, chat. You're going to see some back-end stuff from me here. Just ignore it all. I just want to get that there. Perfect. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. I don't know how long it will take to come through on your screen. Benching graphic. This is roughly the way that I've been leaning over the past kind of 24 to 48 hours, but I keep changing. Like a minute ago, I had Mark Gahey in my team and I had Trippier on the bench. So like, don't hold me by it. I may well switch a couple of them around, but this is roughly where I am with the key players. I know I don't have Pedro Porro in here. I would argue that Porro's right up there ahead of Trippier and Gahey, because he's got attacking threat, and I also think a reasonable chance for a clean sheet this week, because I don't think there'll be many goals in that Chelsea-Spurs game. And I think Spurs will win that game. Spurs are just a better team than Chelsea at the moment. Greek says, "Hey mate, would you rather start Turner or Sanchez in goal?" So on Turner, all of the fans that I've spoken to at Nottingham Forest seem to think Turner will be dropped either this week or in the coming couple of weeks. And if you listen to Mark Southerns on Black Box, he seems pretty convinced that Turner's going to be dropped this week. He said that I think Cooper's been making some comments around trialing out some new players and giving them a chance to play at home and stuff like that. This could be a game that Turner comes out because he's been making a few mistakes recently. All of that to say, it doesn't really matter for your decision making, because if you think Turner should start and he doesn't, then Sanchez will just come in. I would start Turner. No, I wouldn't. I would start Sanchez because, like I said, I think there won't be that many goals in this Spurs-Chelsea game. I would start Sanchez. Maddison and Saka or Bowen and Son on the wild card. Maddison and Saka or Bowen and Son. That is tough. That is really tough. I would go Bowen and Son. No, I'd want Saka in the team. Honestly, my answer is Saka and Son, but you obviously can't afford that. I would still go Bowen and Son. I think Son is so good. I think Son is essential for me. So I'd have Son. Botman to Gahey Mitchell for a -4 or play Gabriel. I'd just play Gabriel. I'm not convinced that Palace defender will outscore Gabriel by more than 4 points, which is always how I decide if a hit's worth taking. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying today's stream, there are over 3,000 people watching and only 200 likes. So if you're one of the probably about 3,000 people that haven't liked today's stream, please do. I would really, really appreciate it. And make sure to subscribe as well. Why not? Why not hit that subscribe button? Anurag says, low-key considering Archer to start ahead of both Saka and Trippier. Who's Archer got? Wolves, right? Wolves at home. ahead of Saka and Trippier. I don't like that at all. I would have Archer comfortably below both of them, honestly. Hi, Raptor. Would you sell Alvarez if you own Haaland? And if so, who to? No, don't sell Alvarez. Maybe next week, but you can discuss that next week. There's no way you sell Alvarez before Bournemouth at home, unless I've missed something and he's unlikely to start. Hey, Dad. Hello, mate. You doggy to Gehi, Kabore to Simicast to not play Gordon. I like both those transfers a lot, but I don't think there's an issue with playing Gordon this week if you fancy it. But yeah, I can understand why. I can understand why you'd want to bench him, right? Arsenal are the best defence in the league this season for expected goals conceded, so I get it. Areola against Brentford or Leno against Man United? Honestly, as bad as Man United are, I'd be very surprised if we don't score today. I would probably, although Brentford will score. Do you know what? Maybe it is Leno. Because Man United take quite a few shots, but they're not very good shots. So Leno's great for saves. It's at home. Do you know what? I would actually start Leno ahead of Areola. Yeah, why not? Because Man United don't score a lot of goals either. And there's a chance that we don't score. I think for what it's worth, both Areola and Leno will concede. So I don't think that decision will matter too much. Bestfoot says, who to sell Diaz for? Already have Salah, Son, Saka and Bowen. And Mbeumo. If you're looking for a midfielder this week and you don't have Mbeumo, I'd lean that way. He's on penalties, 90 minutes. Great for that period coming up. Like I said, 14 to 16. And the great thing about Mbeumo is, if we just take a look at his fixtures. So we spoke about that period. If you just joined the stream, 14 to 16, there are 3 game weeks in the space of about 6 or 7 days. So you can see it, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. Not only is Mbeumo great for that period, because look at his minutes so far this season. He hasn't come off once. He's played 900 minutes in the Prem. So not only is he great for that reason, but in those 3 game weeks, he's got Luton, Brighton and Sheffield United. I mean, there is no chance, even if I have to take a hit, that I'm going without Mbeumo for those 3 games. So why not bring him in now? Because he's got West Ham at home this week. Liverpool away isn't a horrible fixture defensively. Yes, game week 13 isn't great, but he's still on penalty, so you just never know. And then these 3 fixtures here are beautiful. And to be honest, if you're free hitting an 18 or you can get away with benching him, this entire spell here is nice up to here. And then he goes off to AFCON in game week 21. So I want to own Mbeumo for this spell here before he goes to AFCON. And I think he's one of the best midfield options to have at the moment. It's why I'm tempted to just bring him in now, sell Maddison, buy Mbeumo, and just love life having Brian back in my team. Solanke, João Pedro for Ward-Prowse Bowen for next week. Oh, Solanke to João Pedro for Ward-Prowse to Bowen for next week. Yeah, or you could go Nketiah. Jesus looks like he's out for a few weeks. I kind of like Nketiah now that I know that Jesus is out for a bit longer. But I also don't mind João Pedro. If you want someone that's slightly more nailed on to start, go Nketiah. If you want someone with a real high upside that isn't nailed, maybe go João Pedro. It's up to you. I also still do like Edouard as an option. Hi, mate. Have an additional free transfer. Tempted to do Porro out to Simicast. Should I do it this week or wait? Great channel, by the way. Thank you very much for the kind words. I think if you've got a free transfer, Porro to Simicast is an upgrade. Yeah. Because the fixture's better this week. I think they're equally decent defences, but Simicast is not only cheaper, but has better fixtures. So I do think Porro to Simicast is a nice transfer if you've got it. Aditya says, keep/sell Diaz. I would probably sell, just because we don't know if he'll start or not. Have 1 free transfer. I've no other Liverpool attack. I would do Diaz to Mbeumo, only simply because of what's happened to Diaz recently. And that must be terrifying and psychologically very difficult. And I know he's been back in training, but we don't know what kind of state he's in. And I think Klopp would rather protect him than risk him. Obviously, if Diaz tells him, I want to play, I need to play because I need to just get back into it, then maybe it could well be that Diaz starts. But the information we have at the moment, I would probably lean towards expecting it to be Jota, Darwin and Salah as the front 3. Another super chat about Luis Diaz from JML. Thank you very much, by the way. That's a very generous super chat. Says, thinking of getting rid of Luis Diaz, will only have 7.6 in the bank. Then either Mbeumo, Diaby or Matoma, or maybe another player that you're also considering. Sorry, what do you think, Ross? Sorry, I literally just lost my voice there mid-sentence. Short term, Diaby and Matoma, definitely. Longer term in Burmo. And I just think, like I said, because you are going to want Burmo for 14, 15, 16, and he's got a good fixture this week, arguably one of the best in the league this week. I mean, West Ham are not good defensively. Why not just make the move this week? That would be my thought process, JML. So I would go in Burmo, I think. JW Film says, good evening from New Zealand. First time comment. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bench 2 of Trippier, Porro, Gahey, Saka, João Pedro. That's tough. I would bench Trippier and Gahey. I would start Porro, Saka, and João Pedro. Is the way that I would go there. And I know I'm benching Saka and starting Trippier, but if I could play with 2 defenders, I'd probably play Saka ahead of Trippier, but I have to start the third defender. Isaac Anderson has just become a Rap Tier 1 member. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And welcome. Sam Carpenter says, Pedro Porro versus Chelsea or Mitchell versus Burnley. In all honesty, probably Pedro Porro. He's just got so much more attacking threat. And I actually think there's a chance Burnley score. If I had to predict that game, I'd say like 1-1 or something like that. Captain Haaland or Salah? Definitely Haaland if you have Haaland. Start Eze or Souček? I would take a risk on starting Eze. Paqueta and Alvarez suspended for West Ham. Yeah, I think Souček will be starting. I think Souček will start as a defensive midfielder in the absence of Alvarez. So I would start Eze. JSY says, good morning, mate. Hope you're doing well. Would you bench Diaby, Bowen, or Saka? Sorry if I missed you discussing it. Just got on. I think we have discussed that exact trio. I think I said I would lean just about to Saka, but I don't like that. But just because Saka's so bad away. And I know that doesn't mean that he'll never score away. We just saw that he absolutely battered Bournemouth for expected goal involvement. But in most games, Saka does struggle away from home. And on top of that, I mean, it is also one of the best defences in the league in Newcastle. So I would probably bench Saka. It feels weird saying I want to bench Saka or that I would bench Saka, but you can understand why. What do you think about playing with 4 defenders? Yeah, I don't actually care what the formation is. It's more the player versus the player. Like, if you're starting Taylor ahead of Saka, then I don't get that. But if you've got like 4 really good defenders, then by all means go for it. I can show you why I've benched Saka quickly, because people seem to still be a bit unsure. I'm not saying this is definitely the correct decision, by the way. If we just go to Opta Stats, if we go to my custom stats, by the way, love this feature on the Opta Stats table. You can build your own custom stats table. Perfect. Look at all the stuff. I've got everything I need. Big chances, big chance created, non-penalty expected goals, expected assist, expected points. Beautiful. So if we go to, let's type in Bukayo Saka. I want to show you this season and last season to explain my thought process. So Saka this season, at home, per 90, is sat at a 0.26 non-penalty expected goals and 0.38 expected assists, which is really good data. Away, he's got slightly higher expected goals, and if I just throw back to you the Bournemouth game, that's what skewed that, and slightly lower expected assists, right? But he's only played 4 away games, whereas he's played 6 home games. So small sample size, heavily skewed from one game, but not as bad this season, right? If we go back into the previous season, at home, Saka had a 0.37 non-penalty expected goals and 0.22 expected assists. When we then switched that to away, it was 0.15 expected goals and 0.12 expected assists. So Saka's away data last season in 19 appearances, he played all of them, was 0.27, whereas at home, it was 0.59. So, and I know, like I said, this season it's less stark, the contrast, but I think it's just so skewed by that Bournemouth game in such a small sample. Because remember, he's only played 4 games. So one of those games is always going to skew. But like I said, if we throw it back to actually looking at the breakdown of the games, it was this Bournemouth game, 1.41. But outside of that, 0.16, 0.14, 0.27. What was the other game? Oh, and then Bournemouth, the 1.41. I don't know. He could quite comfortably smash it, Saka. I just don't think he's very good away. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Romero or Trippier, Diaby or Soberslyer. Current midfield is Salah, Son, Maddison and Soberslyer. Is attacking Chelsea with Son, Maddison, Romero, wise. I would start Trippier ahead of Romero. I know I said I would start Porro ahead of Romero. Porro ahead of Trippier. But Porro has some attacking threat. Romero really just doesn't have much attacking threat at all. So I would probably start Kieran Trippier. Aditya says Diaz to Jota for free or Diaz and Archer to Nunez and Palmer for a -4. I like that a lot. Diaz and Archer to Darwin and Palmer for a -4. I would do that, Aditya. That's a really nice set of transfers. I cannot wait for Darwin Nunez to miss 10 big chances and get 2 points, but I'm there for it. I do think Darwin's such a good option in FPL at the moment. I love him. But with this busy period coming up, I've got a feeling he might become quite frustrating to own. Am I crazy to captain Salah? Am I crazy to captain Salah instead of Salah? Do you mean Salah instead of Haaland? Chat, is there anyone that owns Haaland and Salah but isn't captaining Haaland? Let me know in the chat. Say yes if you are someone that owns Haaland and Salah but you're not captaining Haaland. Polkit says start Lamptey, Cash, Gabriel, Trippier in at the moment. No, I'd probably keep it as it is. You don't even know if Lamptey's going to start or get to 60 minutes, to be honest. Thoughts on Saka and Mibama to Hwang and Darwin from -4? No, I wouldn't sell Saka. I like the idea of getting Darwin, Frank, but I don't like the idea of selling Saka. I know I've benched him this week, but longer term, I still really want Saka in my team. There aren't many people that are captaining anyone other. I can run a captaincy poll. Oh, my camera's gone already. It's not good. I say already, we've been streaming for over 40 minutes. God, that went quickly. Start a poll. Who are you captaining? Right, I'm running a poll now. There you go. I've just run a poll to see who you are captaining in Game Week 11. Make sure to vote on that poll. Right, let's see if this camera wants to work now for me. Whoa. I just almost threw my water everywhere, chat. That wouldn't have been fun. Oh, camera, behave yourself for once in your life. Right. Sorry, just missed the two super chats. Daniel says, Douglas Luiz and Solanke to Nketiah and Mbeumo for a -4. If so, Gordon or Nketiah? If so, start Gordon or Nketiah. I like that. Nketiah and Mbeumo, and I would start Nketiah ahead of Gordon. I think Nketiah is on a nice little hot streak now. You might as well jump on it whilst you can. Kaz says, play Burn and roll a transfer or move Botman to another defender. Who would you recommend? Thanks. I think if you haven't got a Crystal Palace defender, just for the next few, Crystal Palace defence looks really nice. So I would go Crystal Palace defender. If you've not seen the captaincy poll, by the way, I put in brackets after Haaland, I'm really boring. Just to try and put people off captaining Haaland. Listen, I will do everything in my power. Listen, chat. Here's all the reasons that you should not captain Haaland this week. How much do we think I can reduce Haaland's effective ownership by? Do we think I can reduce Haaland's effective ownership by like 5% if I spend the next 2 hours talking about how much I hate him? Marcus says, I have Trippier, Simicast, Botman, Zuma, and Bell. Now Zuma flagged as well. What would you consider a -4 transfer? Budget 5.7. Yeah. Yeah, I would maybe look at Bell to a Palace defender in that defense. Or you could sell Botman. Botman to a Palace defender. I would quite like there, Marcus. Sorry, I don't even know how to begin to pronounce your name. Kgaogelo. Okay, Gogelo. No, I'm not even going to try. Sorry for butchering your name. It says, bring in Darwin, Diaby, and Simicast for Hoyland, Diaz, and Udogi for a hit. I love that. Can you afford Mbermo instead of Diaby? I think they're the same price-ish, aren't they? So I would go Darwin, and Mbermo, and Simicast in. And if you do that, I love that for a hit. I think that's a nice set of transfers. Jay says, hey, mate, midfield, Madison, Diaby, Bowen, Son, and Salah. 2 free transfers. Transfer out Udogi and Burn and transfer in Maguire and Simicast. Or should I sort the midfield out? You don't need to sort the midfield out at all, mate. That's a lovely midfield. Yeah, I would go do those double transfer. Yeah, absolutely. Really nice. Play Adingra or Saka. Udogi to Simicast or play Trippier. Play Adingra or Saka. I would start Adingra ahead of Saka this week, honestly. Udogi to Simicast or play Trippier. If it's for free, Udogi to Simicast. If it's for a hit, play Trippier. Frosty says, good morning all. Driving over to West Wales and it's very wet. It's very wet here in Nottingham, actually. It looks like it's going to be a horrible one. I'm actually travelling back to London today, so I'm just hoping that the public transport isn't effective because I'll be getting the train back. Should we spin the wheel, chat? On captaincy. Let's spin the wheel for captaincy. And then I need to do my benching decisions as well. Let me drag myself over. There you go. Haaland. Salah. Darwin. If the wheel tells me to captain Haaland, I'll transfer him in for a -8 hit. We're not going to rig the wheel this week. It's best of 3 or first to 2. Okay? No rigging the wheel this week. I'm just going to listen to whatever the wheel suggests. Now listen here. Now listen here, chat. Darwin captain is something I can get on board with. I was saying to my girlfriend before I started streaming, who's currently falling asleep listening to me, I said, I want to captain Darwin. Desperately want to captain Darwin. Please, someone convince me to captain Darwin. The wheel is on that mission. Boo. We don't like that. Who even owns Haaland anyway? Only the worst managers own Haaland. We don't want to do that. FPL Pickle says go for it. Frosty trying to convince me to do it. Oh, God. 3 different spins so far. Okay. We go again. I think this is probably the one. Now, hear me out. Darwizzy captain. That's what the wheels told me to do. We don't like to disobey the wheel. Say no more. Say no more. Say no more. Taylor or Burn to the bench? I would play Burn ahead of Taylor, honestly. I think both will concede, but I think just back the better defence if you can. The wheel is a paid actor. What you don't realise is I've just coded a website that lands on whichever one I want it to. Trippier to Gahey so I can do Palmer to Saka game week 12. I don't think you want to sell Palmer though, Zach. I like the idea of thinking ahead, but surely you want Palmer longer term. So I'm less convinced by that. But yeah, if you think you want Saka and that's the only way, then yeah. I do feel like benching Saka is always a mistake. Even though he's stinky away from home, I do feel like it's a bit of a mistake. But you win some, you lose some, right? You win some, you lose some. I just don't know that he's going to get that much from Newcastle, hopefully. Can you swap Simicast and Cash, please? Cash can't play left. He's right-footed. We've spoken about this, chat. How do you decide how you set up your team? Right? So you see the way I've set up my team. Do you set it up by you literally don't care? Right? You just put your players in and then you keep your team. Do you color coordinate it? Which is what I've done here. You can see I've got a little red one. I've got the like purpley, burgundy, maroon, whatever color that is, that side. Then I've got Maddison and Son and Trippier and Alvarez in the middle. So color coordinate it. And then you've got weird people like Frosty that does highest price to lowest price. So you've got like start on the left-hand side with the highest price and the lowest price. I always do it by color. I don't care what position they're in. Look how beautiful that color coordination is. You can't tell me that's not the best color coordination you've ever seen. Morning, Ross. Do we usually get early United team news? Somehow ended up with Maguire as my third defender. Bench him for Porro. Love you. I think it's fine starting Maguire if you want to. I would be very shocked if Maguire's benched. I don't know if we'll get early team news, but my early team news is Maguire should be starting. I'd be extremely surprised if he doesn't. Mbeumo over Matoma in the next 3. Fixtures not. I think it will be very close, but then I think from 14 you definitely want Mbeumo. So I think if Mbeumo can get within a few points of Matoma, which I think he can, and it saves you a transfer or two, then I think Mbeumo is probably the one to go for. Will says, how do you feel about 8 Nuri as a 4.5 option? I don't mind him at all. He's very, very attacking. So yeah, I think there are worse options than 8 Nuri, definitely. Wolves aren't the best defence though, but he does carry a bit of something going forward. Simicast or Geiki? I would go Simicast if you don't have him. Definitely. But if you need just like a solid option that can start for the next 5, that there's no chance gets dropped, a Palace defender is definitely a decent shout. Alvarez or Darwin as a non-captain asset? Darwin at the moment for me. Darwin is the one. I'm so glad I've got him in because I know if I didn't have him in currently, I'd be trying to find ways to get him in because a Darwin that looks good to start most of the time, definitely not all the time, but most of the time is someone you want. Don't mute. I want to hear that slurp. I can't stand people that slurp down microphones, so I try and mute myself. I really actually do want to captain Darwin. I'm not going to really, by the way, chat. I will just take that off. Just because I don't know if he starts. If I knew Darwin started, for a fact, I would do it. But I don't, sadly. Start Trippier or Ward-Prowse? Ward-Prowse on pens with Paqueta out. Yeah, Ward-Prowse could well be on pens with Paqueta out. I think it's Benrahma, Paqueta, Ward-Prowse. Do you know what? I may start Ward-Prowse instead of Trippier. Yeah, I may do. Wilson to Darwin is tempting, but I like Wilson too much. Want to do Gordon to Matoma, though. Have you got Mbeumo, Frosty? I'd do Gordon to Mbeumo. But yeah, Wilson to Darwin is tempting for you, especially the sort of play that you like. But why is everyone subbing Simicast in? I can show you the exact answer to that. 2 reasons. 3 reasons. Back-to-back clean sheets. Although both were at home against relatively easy opposition. The next fixtures are Luton, Brentford. City's not great, but if you've got someone like a Palace defender or a West Ham defender, you can bench him that week. So Luton, Brentford, difficult fixture. Fulham, Sheffield United, Palace. That's why. Also, he's only 4.6. His attacking threat's actually not bad as well. 0.2 XGI and 0.18 XGI. There's a lot to like about Simicast. I do not for a second think he's essential. I don't for a second think that he's going to heavily punish you if you go without him. But is he one of the better defenders to own at the moment? Yes, because he's cheap, decent attacking threat, decent chance for a clean sheet with really good fixtures. Which, like, what else are you looking for from a defender? And if you actually look at, like, Liverpool have been saving me. I didn't have Haaland last week, but didn't get a big red arrow because mainly Tsimikas, Salah, Darwin saved me. Salah captain, smashed it here. Salah captain, smashed it here. Darwin getting an assist too. Darwin, Salah and Tsimikas are my heroes at the moment, which I'm saying as a Man United fan, I know. I need them to continue to deliver for me. Please. Please continue delivering. Because that's one of the big things that I have is the triple Liverpool that a lot of people don't have. Some people have one, some people have two. Not many have three. And I would argue that's the best three Liverpool assets to own at the moment, right? Is probably Tsimikas, Salah and Darwin. Is McTominay a good call? No, not at all. It's a terrible call. You're an FPL Liverpool fan. I think I basically am, yeah. I do like owning Liverpool assets in FPL. They're just such an attacking team. FPL Zin says, start Saliba or Taylor, or do a -4 to transfer Estepinian to another defender. Got Tsimikas and cash. Wow, that's a loud engine. Got Tsimikas and cash, 2.2 million in the bank. I wouldn't sell Estepinian because I think he's very close to being back. And when he's back, I think he's a great differential that not that many people will be able to move to because he's obviously a little bit more expensive than a lot of the other defenders that they own. So I think if you've got Estepinian and you've held him this long, I don't think you sell Estepinian now. Doubt you'd remember since your chat is busy, but call me KG. Also bench one of Madders or Mbermo. Do you know what? I actually will remember that. From now on, you will be KG. That makes it a lot easier for me. Thank you. Bench one of Son, Maddison or Mbermo. Definitely not Mbermo. I would bench Maddison there. I think Son and Mbermo are such high goal threat. Not that I love benching Maddison, but Maddison would be the one I'd bench if you had to. Thank you very much for the super chat, KG. Vladimir says, bench Trippier, Cash or Porro. Probably Trips. Probably Trippier. Fellow not citizen. Roll the transfer out injured. Sorry, roll the transfer or transfer out injured Udogi / share. And if so, for which defender? I have Tsimikas and Cash. Who's your third defender, though? Or your fifth defender, I should ask. I would maybe do Udogi to a Palace defender. I think that's a nice transfer. Udogi to a Palace defender. That's what I would do, Leon. Bowen or Matoma to start? Matoma. If you're looking to transfer in one of Bowen and Matoma, I'd probably lean Matoma as well. I think just about, just about Matoma edges it for me. But Mbermo beats all of them. My favourite midfielders at the moment are probably Mbermo, Matoma, Bowen, Diaby. Something like that. Start Saka or João Pedro? I'd start João Pedro. I do expect João Pedro to start, but I don't know that. I expected him to start last week and he didn't. Would you sell Watkins for Darwin? No. Watkins is still an excellent option. Chat, should I do Maddison to Mbermo? Chat, what do you think about Maddison to Mbermo? I don't love this situation. I'm kind of tempted to just get Mbermo in my team now. The thing is, chat, I'm going to own Mbermo anyway, and it will be for Maddison. Because in 14, Maddison's got Man City, then West Ham and Newcastle. But in this spell, Mbermo's got Luton, Sheffield United and Brighton. There is no way I don't own Mbermo here. So I will probably bring Mbermo in for Maddison in 14. Do I think Maddison or Mbermo score more in this spell here, is the question. I don't know the answer to that, but obviously Mbermo gives me a bit of funds as well if I need them to move around in my team. Is Alvarez a cheeky captain differential? He's not a bad captaincy option. I just think if you've got Haaland, you captain Haaland. And if you don't have Haaland, surely Salah's a better captain. But I don't mind it. You can see my vice captain's on him, so I clearly don't mind him too much as an option. I'm going to ask you, should I sell Madison for Mbeumo free? Something I was considering this morning. I just don't know. I guess I don't need to make it, but I do really like Mbeumo as an option this week. Caleb says, hi, sexy. Australia says hi. Hello, Caleb. Currently have Salah, Madison, Son, Bowen, midfield 4. Diaby on the bench. Should I change anything? No Haaland gang. Salah, Madison, Son, Bowen, Diaby. I think that's fine. I mean, it's basically my midfield 4, but you've got Diaby and I've got Saka. I think next week you're going to want Saka in. So you can maybe make a transfer that starts to move you towards Saka, or you can just do Maddison or Son to Saka next week. But I think you are going to want Saka for Burnley and then beyond. That's the only thing that I would maybe change. Foden 1 week punt, then into Palmer in the long run. Yeah, you could do, but it's a lot of transfers. I don't really like 1 week punts, in all honesty. I'm not a big fan of 1 week punts. Do you have any Zuma news? I don't, sadly. Sorry. I just know that he's flagged, but I don't know how serious that is. Would you sell Neto? Yeah, I would sell Neto. Are you considering any goalkeeper transfers? I don't know who I would buy. There are no good goalkeepers at the moment in FPL. Frosty says, right back driving. Good luck, all. Good luck, Frosty. Start Palmer or Ferguson? I'd start Palmer. Sell Watkins for Alvarez. I don't hate that, but I certainly don't love it either. Victor says, Mbeumo over Matoma for the next 3. Fixtures favour Brighton. For the next 3, I think Mbeumo's slightly better, but longer term, I prefer Mbeumo. So Matoma for the next 3, and Mbeumo beyond that. Why start Palmer over Ward-Prowse this game week? Both are on set pieces. I just think Palmer's a better option. Palmer is not only on set pieces and on pens, but he's also got some attacking threat from open play. KES says, start Bowen or Diaby. Sell either from Mbeumo. Would I start Bowen or Diaby? I would start... I think this is a 50-50. I think I've answered this differently every time someone's asked. But Bowen and... I would say Bowen because Diaby's better away from... I would say Bowen because he's better away from home than Diaby. But I prefer Mbeumo to both of them. I do prefer Mbeumo to both of them. I've always loved Mbeumo from the start. I mean, I started Game Week 1 with him. What was the Arsenal-Newcastle? Newcastle versus Arsenal. What was the Newcastle-Arsenal result last season? Arsenal won 2-0. Fabian Schär own goal and Martin Odegaard goal. Interesting. That was in May, though, wasn't it? And then at home, it was Arsenal 0, Newcastle 0. I do think we could see something similar this season. I don't think there's going to be tons of goals in it, which is why I'm happy starting Trips and benching Saka. But obviously, if it's 2-0 Arsenal, then I've had a bit of a disaster there because Saka could be involved and Trippier's probably conceded. But yeah, I could see it. I could see it being a low-scoring game for sure. We'll do some predictions after the deadline. If you want to stick around post-deadline, we'll do some predictions for the games. Play Areola or Leno. I would play Leno. Flabberdoodle says, hey, Raptor, looking good today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I try my best for you guys. I actually did my hair a little bit special today. Do you like my hair, chat? Maybe. Eze, Douglas Luiz or Matoma? Matoma. I do love Eze, though. I love Eze, but probably Matoma. Free hit squad. If you go and watch my Game Week preview video, no, my deadline decisions video, I show you a free hit squad in that. So go and watch my deadline decisions and you'll see. You've got no hair, Baldy. Rude. Almost as good as Mbermo's hair, Ross. Nice. All bald men are great at football. Ross casually making his bald dad jokes. I love a good dad joke. Start Van der Ven or Gabriel. Van der Ven or Gabriel. I would start... Oh, that is a tough one. Van der Ven. I'd start Van der Ven. Now I understand why you like Mbermo so much. Bench Wissa or Saka, please. Saka. Wissa's got a decent fixture. His data's still good as well. Luke says, 2 free transfers, Burn to Crystal Palace defender. Yeah, if you've got 2 free transfers, that's a nice move. What transfers is your girlfriend making because she's better at FPL than you? She's asleep. Like, genuinely asleep. My bed's there, next to my desk. She's asleep. Fast asleep. I'll have to wake her up so she can make her transfers. She keeps forgetting to make her transfers because she falls asleep during my streams. Outrageous behaviour. She says it's because my voice is soothing and it makes her feel relaxed. But really, what that means is she gets bored listening to me. Start you Doggy or Gabriel? Gabriel. Yeah, Gabriel. Just in case you Doggy doesn't start but comes off the bench. But if you Doggy starts, I prefer him to Gabriel. It's a tricky one. Hey, Mr. T-Rex. Hello. Should I bench Porro or Gahey? Currently have Gahey, Simicast, and Cash as a back 3. I would bench... I think I would want to start Porro, really. I think he's got a decent chance for a clean sheet, and he's got so much more attacking threat than any of the Palace defenders. I'd be tempted to start Porro, really. That's how boring your stream is, Ross. Thanks. Gordon to Mbermo for a -4 with either Cash to Maguire or Burn to a 3.8 to fund it. Going for a 3.8 would leave me light on the bench. Love your streams. Thank you very much, Rowan. I appreciate that. Oh, that's a tough one. I would wonder if there's a way that you can do it without... I like the idea of getting Mbermo in, but not at the expense of selling Cash for Maguire and not at the expense for a 3.8 million on your bench. If you had to do one of them, I would lean towards Burn to a 3.8 and just hoping you... Obviously, Bulldog, and just hoping that you don't need your bench. And then maybe in the future weeks, Rowan, you can look to get back to upgrade one of your bench players. Is yours and your girlfriend's bed an egg box? Would you sell Areola for Johnston? I don't hate that at all, actually. But I just think the keepers are just pretty crap this year anyway, all of them. Areola could keep a clean sheet every now and again. The fixtures are still very good as well. Emily says, hi, Ross. I've got a benching headache. Who would you bench out of Mark Gahey, Dunk, Walker, and Cash? I wouldn't bench Walker. I wouldn't bench Cash. Everton are actually pretty good. I would probably bench Dunk. Not particularly happy about that because that's a real horrible one to bench, but Brighton just haven't been good defensively. Is Diaz likely to play or should I move him on? Diaz is involved in the squad. He's been involved in training. I think it will be Jota, Darwin and Salah, but it could definitely be Diaz. Diaz could definitely start on the left. So the answer is I don't know. I would probably sell him just because I don't think even when he starts, he's that great of an option that it justifies taking the risk of him not playing. That would be my opinion on it. Would you play Bruno? Absolutely. If you've got Bruno, you play Bruno against Fulham, definitely. But I don't have Bruno, so. Mate, I'm concerned about you benching Saka. Yeah, I know. I think this is the way I'm going to go, though. I think this is the way that I'm going to go. Back the home games. I'm backing Maddison at home and I'm backing Trippier at home instead of Saka and Gahey away. Is Edouard a good captaincy differential? No, not for me. I think the only players that I would captain either a City or a Liverpool attacker this week. They're the only ones I would consider for captaincy. Bench Saka for Darwin? Yeah, I don't think you can bench Darwin. In fact, you can't bench Darwin this week unless you know something that I don't about him not starting. Maddison or Bowen to start? I think I would lean Bowen because I think there'll be more goals in that game for West Ham than there will be for Spurs in the Chelsea game. Like I said, I don't think this is always the best way to think about it, but try to think, if you weren't playing FPL, what score do you think West Ham Brentford would be? I would say 2-2. If West Ham score 2 goals, I'm banking on Bowen being involved in those 2. When I was asked to predict the Spurs-Chelsea game, I actually said 1-0 Spurs. And then that's what made me think, is Maddison the best player to start? Right, if I expect it to be 1-0. But Spurs are very attacking. Chelsea just conceded 2 to Brentford, so maybe I'm calling that game wrong. And also, Maddison and Son are involved in pretty much every goal for Spurs. And equally, when I was asked to predict the Arsenal Newcastle game, I said like 1-1 or 2-1. So it helps a little bit, especially with attackers and defenders. But if you can try and predict which way you think the game will end up going. Like, if you were to predict the Arsenal-Newcastle game and your prediction is like 4-2, then get Saka into your team, absolutely. But I don't think there'll be that many goals in it. Ross, please help. Don't want to burn a transfer. Who do I bring in Burmo in for? Midfield is Diaby, Son, Salah, Maddison, Bowen. I think the only player there that makes sense is probably Maddison. Or Diaby. You can't sell Son, Salah, Bowen, I don't think. So if you're going for in Burma, I think it's in for Maddison or Diaby. This week, obviously, Diaby has the slightly better fixture. Longer term, Diaby's fixtures really take a turn for the worse. I would probably bring in Burma in for Maddison this week, and then you can maybe look to get Maddison back in for Diaby in a few weeks if you really want Maddison back. Ugh, I'm tired, chat, and I'm hungry. Like a 2-year-old, I'm tired and hungry. Do we have any leaks so far? I was running late. There are no leaks, but who do you want leaks for? It's Man United is the early kickoff, and no one has any Man United players. Epicrafty Superstar, I think, says Darwin and Adingra or DCL and Nketiah. DCL/Nketiah and Saka. I think Darwin and Adingra has a very, very high ceiling. That feels like a very explosive pairing. But probably Nketiah and Saka is the safer pairing. So it depends what you want. Safety or if you want explosiveness. I know Nketiah's just come off the back of a hat-trick, but I think the former pair has slightly better chance of like smashing it. Ross, if you're hungry, you should poach yourself and lie on toast. Outrageous. Khan says, what should I do? Here's my starting 11. Okay, I'm looking at it. I'm not going to read it out, but I'm looking at it. Should I sub in someone or what transfer? No. I mean, I'm starting Bowen ahead of Saka, so take of that what you will. You could argue that Maguire could come in place of Trippier. I've seen a few people say, but I would agree with you that I would have your starting 11 as it is. I'd be tempted by bringing Bowen in. Do you need to make a transfer? No. Team is perfect. The only thing you could potentially do is try and squeeze Mbermo in for this week, but it would probably be at the expense of Bowen, and then you'd bench Saka anyway. So no, Khan, I think your team's perfect. I'd roll the transfer, and I don't think you need to make any changes. Sheen says, Taylor or Burn for the start? Taylor surely more likely for a clean sheet, or transfer Burn out for who? Have Simicast and Cash already. I would start Burn ahead of Taylor because I don't think that Taylor's that much more likely to get a clean sheet. Because it's Taylor, remember, it is Burnley. I know the fixture's better, but it is Burnley. And if you're going to transfer Burn out, I would bring in a Palace defender. In which case, you would then probably start the Palace defender, yeah. Diaby or Bowen? I change this every time I've answered it. I think just about Jared Bowen. Just about. Just because he's very good away from home this season. Just a bit of Bowen away from home propaganda. Away from home this season, 8 points against Villa, 7 against Liverpool, 7 against Luton, 9 against Bournemouth. And I know Bournemouth and Luton are good games, but Villa's not and Liverpool's not, and he's still returned in both of those. So he has been pretty decent away from home this season. Oh, and he got the 12-pointer against Brighton, as well. And it's got decent data in these games as well. It's not like he's been... The only game where he was very, very lucky is the Villa game. He didn't really create an awful lot against Villa. But then against Everton, he had a couple of chances. I think when Bowen's got a decent fixture, his data's good. The only games where Bowen's data's not been good this season is Man City, Newcastle, and Villa. And also, all of those were at home apart from Villa. But the Newcastle and City games are at home. So I think against a decent but not fantastic defence away from home like Brentford, I think that's a very Bowen fixture. I could see Bowen doing well in this, which is why I want to get him into my starting 11. Do you really think Newcastle can beat Arsenal? Not going to happen. Not particularly. I'm not benching Saka because I think Newcastle will beat Arsenal. I'm benching Saka because I don't think Arsenal will score that many goals. And Saka doesn't tend to be involved much away from home. That's it. Hi, Ross. Gordon or Gabriel? Gordon. I think I back both teams to score, so Gordon. Hey, Raptor. Hwang or Matoma this week? This week, I think they're both good. Longer term, Matoma. If it's to start one, I would still probably favour Matoma. Just playing in a team where I'm comfortable that they will create quite a few chances. Whereas Wolves, you just never know. Especially in the absence of Neto. We still don't know how good Wolves are going to be going forward now without Neto. Which, again, I think we've had confirmation Neto is not available this week. Let me know if I'm wrong there. Hi, Ross. Start 2 of Gabriel, Burn and Palmer. I'd start Burn and Palmer there. Saka or Diaby? This week I'd start Diaby. If it's like long-term transfer, then I would prefer Saka. Bench Darwin? No, not in hell. Unless you think Darwin's going to be on the bench. You're awake now. I was just telling the chat that you've been asleep. And you're going to miss your transfers if you fall asleep again. The girlfriend is awake. Just looked at me like this. Like she just woke up from a nap. Hi, Harry. Why are you saying hi, Harry? You are in the wrong stream. Saka or Højlund to start? Højlund. Bowen versus João Pedro. I would say I'd start João Pedro and hope that he starts. Why is someone saying news on Fabian Schär? What's the latest? Let me have a look for you. Have I missed something? What was the news on Schär that's meant that he's illness. That makes me want to play Saka if shares out. Hey, wait, I'm going to backtrack now. Do I just play Saka? If Fabian, Share, and Botman are out. Chat, what are we saying? What are we saying? I didn't realise Fabian Share had an illness. I'll be entirely honest. I missed that somehow. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I don't think that makes Newcastle a terrible defence. But who's their back line then? Is it Lascelles and Burn at centre-back? No, because they've got no left-back. Who's playing for... If Share's out... No, Share out isn't confirmed, but apparently he's ill. Who would Newcastle's back line be? Don't know. Start Burn or Lamptey? Probably still Burn. Lascelles and Krath. Lewis Hall left back. Oh, yeah, it could be Lewis Hall left back and Burn at centre back. So it would be Burn and Lascelles. That's not a terrible back line, but it's not great, is it? Lewis Hall against Saka. What do we think of Lewis Hall versus Saka? Somebody want to play Saka a little bit? I know this isn't the way... Hi, Ross. Is your girlfriend called Spoon? You two would make a great running partnership. For God's sake, not Egg and the Spoon. I know this isn't the way that I think about it, but I think if I was to bench Maddison and play Saka, then I feel like I could play Gahey instead of Trippier and back Arsenal to score. Maddison and Trippier on the bench also doesn't feel great. You know? Lewis Hall is quality. He would do more than fine. We've seen Lewis Hall versus Saka last season at Chelsea, though. What was the result there? Chelsea versus Arsenal results. Wait, Cucurella played that game. Oh, no, that was this season. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. What was the results in that game? Chelsea lost 1-0 to Arsenal in that game. Who scored the goal? No, he wasn't in that game either. What are you talking about? What game did Lewis Hall play against Saka? I'm not seeing the game that you're talking about. Unless it's that one. Also can't see. I'm just going to assume you're making stuff up or I can't find it. Versus City, Lewis Hall was class last season. Maybe we just back it then. Yeah, maybe we back Lewis Hall to do the job. Lamptey or you doggy bench start? I would start Lamptey there, I think. Yeah, I'd start Lamptey. Is playing Burn and Gabriel simultaneously okay? Yeah, you're just hoping for a 0-0, I guess. Just hoping for a 0-0. Cole said, oh, I've done that one. Trina says, hey, Ross, love the content. Which of these defenders would you bench this week? Trina, I would bench Gabriel just about. Yeah, Gabriel just about. If you have to bench two of them, probably is Gabriel and Burn. And I would just hope that there are goals in that game for you. Mouse Rat says, would you use one free transfer for the snooze fest transfer of Udogi to Simicast? If I don't, I'm stuck with Trippier and Gabriel playing. Yeah, I think Udogi to Simicast is nice. It's a very obvious transfer, but that doesn't make it a bad one. Sell Trippier to Anderson to get Darwin and Bowen. Yeah, I don't mind that, Nicholas. Ward-Prowse replacement. Hwang, Adingra or Harrison? I would go Adingra for me. Sell Maddison for Matoma. I don't mind it, but I also don't think it's Don't think it's like a wonderful transfer. I think it's a slight upgrade if you look at the fixtures, but Maddison is a better asset than Matoma. So, yeah. Saley says, my boyfriend's confused. Saley, your boyfriend's always confused. 1 free transfer, roll with Diaz, or Diaz to Matoma. Diaz to Matoma feels good for me. We just don't know if Diaz is going to start or not is the issue. Yeah, I would go Diaz to Matoma. Anderson or Burn in defence? Probably Anderson. Hi, mate. Would you do Trippier to Dallo for free? Don't know about that one. The thing is, right, I've been going back and forth on this. Sorry for sniffing, by the way. I think I'm a little bit under the weather. I could sell Trippier this week to give me funds for like future weeks, right? I could do something like Trippier to Saliba, which would then mean that I have 1.7 in the bank, and I play Gehi this week, and it removes my benching dilemma as well. I could even do something like, if I want to take all of the money out of my defence, which is perfectly fine to do because I have Tsimikas, Gehi in cash. Believe it or not, I could do something like that, like Trippier to Maguire. I would still probably bench Maguire this week, but it would leave me loads of funds. My issue is, next week, Trippier's got Bournemouth away. And people are telling me Haaland's going to destroy Bournemouth. If that's the case, Trippier's got some chance for attacking, rotating clean sheets there. Then it's Chelsea and United. I actually expect at least 1 clean sheet in those 2 games for Newcastle. Then it's Everton, Spurs, Fulham, Luton, Forest. That run of fixtures is really nice too. I may well end up keeping Trips. The issue I've got is that if I want Haaland in 16, the easiest way to do that is selling Trippier. If I don't sell Trippier, I'm going to find it very tricky. So if I have to sell Trippier here anyway, how good do I think these fixtures are? Less good. It's a tricky one, it really is. But I think I want Trippier for Bournemouth away next week. Watkins or Bowen? Watkins. Start Bowen or Diaby. I think I'm saying just about Jared Bowen, but I do think Diaby's a good shout too. Hello, you beautiful egg. How are you and the missus? I'm good. The missus is probably back fast asleep. She's dozing in and out. But she's good as well. Start Ward-Prowse or Palmer. Palmer for me. Hello, Ross. Palmer, Gordon or Adingra? If it's to start this week, I'd go Adingra. If it's to have long term, I like Palmer. If it's to have over the next 3, I like Adingra. I still think Gordon's a great option, but the fixtures just aren't quite there, are they? Hello, Ross. What do you think about Maddison to Son upgrade in a couple of game weeks' time? Is it worth the upgrade? I think it's worth the upgrade unless you have other transfers you can make, which... How do I word this? That there's a bigger disparity between the 2 players. So, right, Maddison and Son. Son is a better player than Maddison, but only slightly. If you can make a transfer, for example, that's like Ward-Prowse to Mbeumo, that is a huge upgrade. So whilst I do think Son is an upgrade on Maddison, I don't know if it's big enough to use one of your transfers unless unless you've just got 3 transfers to use and you don't have other places to use them on. Hayden says, got Gehi, Cash, Tsimikas, Trippier, Udogi, Matoma, Diaby and Mbeumo, Gordon, Salah and Morris. Nice. 0.5 in the bank. What do I do? Roll? I obviously don't own Saka. You could roll. Or you could do Morris to Nketiah. I don't know that you... I would be tempted to roll and then next week do Morris to Nketiah. I don't know that you need Saka. But obviously he's a great player to own. But I'm just looking at your midfield. You don't really have an easy route. You've got Gordon, Mbeumo, Diaby and Matoma. That's 4 cheapish midfielders. So I think you roll and next week do Morris to Nketiah. So Callum says, start Gordon or Taylor this week. That's a very difficult one. I would lean Gordon because I think, yes, Taylor's got a decent fixture, but his attacking threat is limited. I know he scored last week, but ignore that. His attacking threat is limited. He's not... I mean, Burnley aren't a great defence. How are Burnley defensively before I keep saying that? Like, is there any... What am I doing? Is there any justification to keep... Like, to have Taylor in your starting 11? If we... I'll just refresh that. And if we sort by teams, expected goals conceded, they're not the worst defence in the league, but they are the 5th worst defence in the league. Alongside Fulham, West Ham, Luton. I mean, Man United are down there as well. Dear Lord, we've been not good. Wait, so Burnley are playing at home, aren't they? What's their home data like? So they're slightly better at home than they are away, but not much. I mean, Burnley just aren't a great defence. But the issue you've got is that when you do teams away from home XG, Palace are all the way down here. So also Palace aren't a great attack. But if Eze's back, that makes them a little bit stronger. All of that to say, I don't think Taylor's a fantastic option. I know he got 6 points last week, but that doesn't mean that now going forward he's great. Bainesy 1990 says, I forgot to play my wildcard last week. Suggestions for a wildcard squad this week, as I'm massively low in my rank now. Exactly the same as last week, but you may want to squeeze Darwin in. And what else? You maybe would have one less Villa asset. Like last week, you might have had like DRB, Watkins, and Cash. You could maybe get away with having just Watkins or just Cash, because the fixtures are starting to run out a little bit for Villa. But yeah, if you look at my wildcard draft that I showed last week, I would have something similar to that. I would have Darwin, Salah, Tsimikas. I would have probably Alvarez and Haaland. So I may drop Watkins. But if you don't want to drop Watkins, you'd probably have to drop Alvarez. I would still have Son. I would have Mbermo in there, is maybe a change. And then just fill out the places after that. But those are some of the key players that I would have. If you are enjoying today's stream, by the way, and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing. We were very close to 105,000. Let me see how close we are now. Oh, we've hit 105. Ignore me then. Keep subscribing, but we just hit 105,000. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, if you're not yet subscribed, please do consider doing so. Make sure to drop a like on the stream as well. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. DK says, Tsimikas and Højlund to Darwin and Maguire, -4. I wouldn't sell Tsimikas as part of a -4, no. Posh has been a member for 8 months. Thank you very much, Posh. I appreciate that. Darza says, start Lamptey or Gabriel. You could take a punt on Lamptey if you wanted to. I'd start Gabriel. Arsenal kept 2 clean sheets last season against Newcastle, so it's possible. Hi, Ross. I have Cash, Gabriel, Burn, Lascelles, and Taylor in defence. Okay. Which 3 would you start? Thank you as always. Cash, definitely. Oh, that is tricky. I'd honestly probably start the 3 that you've started with. I would start Cash, Gabriel, and Burn. And I would bench Taylor and Lascelles. I would have Taylor ahead of Lascelles on the bench, though. Is the way that I would probably do that. Would you buy Matoma or Mbermo? Mbermo's better long term, but probably Matoma slightly edges it for the next 3. So it depends how long term you're looking, and whether you're happy making another transfer soon to sell Mbermo, to sell Matoma to probably get Mbermo back, or to buy Mbermo for one of your other midfielders. I still don't know how to feel about my benching decisions. I might just quickly spin the wheel, chat, if this is okay. So the first one is start Trippier. Okay, so whoever it lands on is the player that I should start. We're going to do start rather... No, we're going to do bench rather than start. So, oh glorious Will, which of these 2 players should I bench? We're going to do best of 3, first of 2. This is who I should bench. Okay. Smells like yellow 182 says sell Porro for Simicast. Also, would you think about bench boost this week? I'm worried Turner loses his place, so I'm not going to bench boost this week because I would lose my keeper, and I don't think Taylor's got a great chance for a clean sheet either, so not for me. Would I sell Porro for Simicast? Yes, I don't mind that at all. Right, one more spin then to decide who to bench out of these two. That damn music. It's quite something, isn't it? Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So the wheel's telling me I should bench Trippier and start Gakey. Interesting. And then who should I bench out of Saka, Madison? Camera's lagging. Thank you for letting me know, chat. I wasn't looking at my camera. I'll reset that now. Who should I bench out of Saka, Madison, and Bowen? Yeah. Yeah, this is what we're going to do here. Who should I bench out of Saka, Madison, and Bowen? Is there any other players that I might bench? No, it's one of those three. I've got to bench one of them. That was very, very close. The wheel was even a bit unsure on this one. Oh, my camera's really playing up today. It's not been this bad in a while. It's not having any of it. Okay, Saka's got one vote. Listen here. When the wheel knows, the wheel knows. Double spin straight away on Bukayo Saka. We'll have a bit of that. Bit of confirmation bias. Yes, please. There you go, I'm back. It's exciting. Who to start between Madison, Diaby, Bowen? I've been asked that loads of times. I genuinely think I've changed my answer every time. I would just about bench Madison, just simply because I think it's the trickiest fixture out of the three. Start Madison or Edward? I'd start Edward. I would start Edward, yeah. Hey, Egg Baby. Hello. Zuma or Gordon to start? Gordon. Hi, Ross. In a pickle this week. Gotta love pickles. Sell Porro and Archer for Bulldog bench to Watkins -4. I would buy Darwin if you're going to do that. But yeah, I don't mind that if you want to bring in Watkins for sure. Love your eggy work. Thank you. Who is your current egg 11 in the Premier League, manager included? I will do that after the deadline. We'll go through my favourite eggs. Is this your final team? I think so. I do have 30 minutes or 25 minutes to change my mind. Are you locked in? Everyone asking all of a sudden if I'm locked in. Not locked in, but fairly locked in. Are you expecting early team news from Fulham? Who do you want to know about from Fulham? Chelsea will keep a clean sheet. I hope not, because that would be a double blank for me in the midfield. Should I bench Palmer over Almiron? I would start Palmer ahead of Almiron myself. Areola or Leno? Leno, I think I said. Yeah, Leno. I'm nervous and excited about captaining Darwin. I wish I could captain Darwin. I just don't know that he's going to start. And I think with captaincy, you've got to know that the player's going to start. Would you do Burn to Simicast or roll? Got Mitchell. What's the Mitchell connection, Connor? If you're saying you could start Mitchell, I would just start Mitchell and roll. If Mitchell's already in your 11, Burn to Simicast feels like a decent transfer. I'll be honest. I don't mind that at all. Who to bench, Diaz or Diaby? I would bench Diaz just because we don't know if he's going to start or not. And if he doesn't, then I would definitely rather have Diaby. Højlund, help. What about Højlund? I think he's fine to start, Man United are struggling, though, but he has looked like one of the bright sparks in the attack, so I don't mind the idea of starting Højlund. Gordon or Hwang? If you're choosing fresh this week, probably Hwang, but I think Gordon is a better asset. Shazam says, a bit late to the stream, but how was the Indian last week? The Indian last week was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Plus, bench Gordon or Matoma. I would bench Gordon. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Sell cash to Simicast to free money for Saka next week. Why not just... Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah, I guess you could. I just don't think you need to do that this week. Just do cash to Simicast next week. Unless you think Simicast is a much better option than cash for Game Week 11. Start cash or Gabriel. I'm on Darwin Cap. Love the Darwin captaincy. I would start cash ahead of Gabriel quite comfortably. Why is everyone just saying Lamptey, Lamptey, Lamptey? Do you know something that I don't? Chat, why is so many people owning and asking about Lamptey? It's genuinely one of the most asked questions I've had in this stream. Yash has asked, would you buy Gakey for Gabriel? Already got Raya for Arsenal defence. No, I wouldn't sell Gabriel. I'd keep him. But I do like the idea of getting a Palace defender in. Raktim says, Pedro, Ferguson or Cunha? Probably Pedro Porro. Do you think we'll get early team news on Man United? Who are you looking for? Who are you looking for? Is it Bruno will start, Højlund will start, Maguire will start? I don't know who we're waiting for early team news on. Interesting. Someone that's been very reliable in the past with Arsenal, Newcastle and City team news has just told me... I don't know if I want to share that. I will share this with the understanding that it's very early. Apparently Gabriel starts, which I think we would have expected anyway. But yeah, Gabriel starts according to this source. He said he is waiting for official confirmation. So I'll let you know if... Yeah, I'll let you know. I really want to bring in Mbermo. I'm not going to lie, chat. I really want Mbermo. Gabriel or Fabian Schär, who to start? I'd start Fabian Schär, and if for some reason he does miss out, apparently he's ill, then Gabriel would come on anyway. But yeah, I'd probably back Fabian Schär ahead of Gabriel. Why would you start Trippier over Mark Gahey? I'm playing Gahey. I just think he's a better defender with better attacking data, better bonus points potential, and playing in a better defence. But Gahey's attacking threat has been good recently. Right, 0.11's not awful, 0.27, 0.17. He's at least had a couple of chances. Maybe he is the one to start. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 3 clean sheets in a row here. Then back-to-back losses, but 2 tough opponents. How have they been away from home this season? They lost here. They conceded. Okay, so they clean sheet, conceded, clean sheet, conceded. They've not been shocking away from home. Maybe Gahey is the one to start. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I'm just going to get it wrong this week no matter what I do. If only there was a chip where you could just start all 15 of your players. Before people start commenting, I'm fully aware that that is exactly what the bench boost chip is, but it's not the week. I think Turner's not got a great fixture and he might get dropped. I don't think both Gakey and Taylor will keep a clean sheet. And I think Saka is suboptimal for this week. How do we know if Darwin starts? We don't, but I just think he's been playing so well recently that he's not got to start as the number 9, but it would be crazy to bench him in this form. He's playing so well. Would you start Flecken or Areola? Flecken. Flecken. Start Simicast or Palmer? That's a tough one. I would start Simicast. I don't normally back defenders, but I think it's such a nice fixture. Clean sheet looks decent. A little bit of attacking threat, maybe some bonus. Gets an assist in there. Yeah, I'd probably just lean Simicast there. In Darwin, we trust. I need Darwizzy to pull through like you wouldn't believe. My entire game week hinges on Salah and Darwin. And I say that because Haaland's going to smash it, right? That's not a... It's a question of how much he smashes it, but Haaland will smash it. So everyone will captain him. So I'm not only losing Haaland's points, I'm losing Haaland's points times 2. So I need my captain in Salah to go off. I need them to go absolutely nuclear, as he has been, and hopefully get me a big, big monster haul. But then Darwin is the one player. If I had Haaland, I wouldn't have had Darwin. So last week, Darwin got me that 10 points. It was big. I need another big performance from him because he's the one covering Haaland for me. So Haaland and Salah, my entire week hinges on that. You've got just over 15 minutes till the deadline. You need to make your transfer if you haven't already. Okay. Before you fall back asleep. Outrageous. Missed my super chat. Sorry, Reese. Let me have a look. Sorry, I've just seen it, mate. Have Luis Diaz and Neto one free transfer? What to do? Love you, Ross. I love you too. I think Neto's the biggest issue because obviously his injury. Luis Diaz could still start, and if not, he'll come off the bench against Luton. So, or you could make a double transfer. You could do like Diaz and Neto to Mbermo and Matoma. That could be nice. Or if you just want to make the one transfer, I think it's Neto, and you probably go Palmer, Hwang, Gordon, someone like that. Bench Saka or Gordon? I'd bench Gordon there. Areola or Leno, Stones or Saliba? I would start Stones and Leno there. Solanke to João Pedro, Cunha or Ferguson? I would say João Pedro. Mbermo in, still trusting you implicitly, join me. I love Mbermo, but I don't think I'm going to make the move this week. On a free hit, what is your ideal team focusing on fixtures? If you look at my deadline decisions video, click off this stream, go watch the deadline decisions video. I show you a free hit draft in that. But you are targeting triple Liverpool, triple City at the very least. Triple City, triple Liverpool is an absolute must. And then you can fill in the players around that. I'd have Mbermo, for example. Am I being stupid, Archer or Saka? I don't think you're being stupid, Mason, but I think it's comfortably Saka for me there. Are you doing another Saturday stream? No, not this week. I won't do that all the time. It'll be like once a month. I'm actually going back to London tonight. So I'll be with my family and my girlfriend tonight. Bench 1, Maddison, Darwin, Trippier, Anderson, Bowen, Diaby. Probably Trippier, because Anderson actually carries some decent attacking threat there. Yeah, it would be Trippier or Anderson. I think you bench one of those two. Should I play Bowen or Matoma this week, mate? Good luck. I would bench Bowen. I think I would start Matoma, yeah. Connor says, hi, Ross. I need to sell Neto. Straight swap to Hwang/Adingra or get Matoma for a hit and Porro to a 4.2 defender like Maguire. I honestly would go... No, that's for a hit. I would go Neto to Adingra. Connor? Tafan Official, thank you for the big super chat. It's very generous. Says, bench 1, Pau Torres, Trippier or Gordon? I would go Pau Torres there, in all honesty. I'd honestly go Pau Torres. Because I know the fixture's better than for Trippier and Gordon, but he's not got any attacking threat. Whereas Gordon obviously does, and Trippier does too. Is Alvarez starting? I would imagine so, yeah. But I don't know that. Is Adingra in the starting lineup? Again, I don't know, but Adingra is definitely first choice. Are you rolling today, Ross? Yeah, I don't think I'm making a transfer. The only one that tempted me is I was tempted by Maddison to Mbermo, but as you can see, the chat also agrees it's probably not the week to do it. Is Jota worth keeping? Definitely. I think Jota will start is my prediction. But yeah, I think I would keep Jota for this week at least. If Diaz does come straight back in, then maybe you can sell Jota next week. Apparently, Marcus Rashford is facing a late that's a Freudian sleep. Late fitness test, not a late tit, to be available for the game. I'm just trying to find the tweet. The United stand understands that Marcus Rashford didn't train yesterday due to injury and faces a late fitness test ahead of today's game against Fulham. If he didn't train yesterday, then there's no chance Marcus Rashford features. So I would predict that probably Rashi won't play, if that's the case. FPL Main Road tweeted. What did he tweet? Let's have a look. He tweeted, I expect some sort of rotation today. I think he might start Calvin as Rodri is one booking away from suspension with Chelsea, Paul and Spurs in the next 3. I think Foden is starting also. I said Alvarez, question mark? Alvarez, question mark? Let me DM him. Oh, interesting. The source that is quite accurate for me said that Rashford starts. I guess that will help me to confirm how accurate this source is. Interesting. Very interesting. Sorry, chat, for just typing and not answering your questions. I'm just trying to get some early team news for us if we can. Saka out, or you just don't think he'll perform? I wouldn't sell Saka. I love Saka as an option. I think Saka's fantastic. I just don't think this is a great fixture for him. And I have 7 other really good attackers. I think Saka's great. I wouldn't be selling Saka in a million years. Yash says, quick wildcard draft, please, Ross. I don't really have time 10 minutes before the deadline. I'm very, very sorry. Transfer Kulusevski out for Matoma, Fati, or another. I would go Matoma. What is the size of your sofa? I'm just going to turn off social media today, I think. Just not look at any results. Should I do Braithwaite in or Branthwaite in for share? Would bench him anyways. Which funds Saka in for Alvarez next week, reshuffling the cheap bench options. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of Branthwaite in for Fabian Schär. That's absolutely fine. Bench one of Porro, Trippier, Cash, Tsimikas. Probably Trippier from those options. Would you do Udogi to Tsimikas or play Mark Guehi? I would just play the Palace defender, but I also do like the idea of getting Tsimikas in. Okay. FPL Main Road says he doesn't know if Alvarez starts, but he's up at 99% on his predictor. Okay, so we don't have any news on Alvarez, sadly. That's annoying. Looks like Foden starts, though, which is good. Okay. Looks like Dalot and Maguire start, if that's who people are waiting on, from the same source. So Dalot, Maguire apparently starting. I don't know how much I can trust that, But there we go. For what it's worth, I think Maguire and Dalot would start anyway without any early team news, but start Saka or Højlund, thanks. I'd honestly start Højlund, but maybe that's my Man United bias. Saka's probably the sensible one to start there. By the way, you've got less than 10 minutes until the deadline. Make sure you lock your teams in. Just need to screenshot my team on my phone so that I can tweet it. Ooh. I don't know. Apparently Fabian Schär might be injured. Not injured. Ill. I would... Maybe Gabriel then. I don't know. I would go Burn. Okay. Sorry, chat. Girlfriend's asking, Gabriel or Burn? And I still don't know the answer to any of anyone's benching decisions. Rashford out. I don't know. Apparently Rashford started according to the source that I was sent news on. So either my source is wrong or he passed his late fitness test. Hello, Mubama. Yeah, Mubama's just chilling. God, the chat is moving away. How does a chat move this quickly? Diaby or Bowen? I think I said just Bowen. Just about Bowen. Stop asking my girlfriend questions to ask me. Matoma or Saka? Matoma. Is it worth starting Saka or Ward-Prowse? I'd still lean Saka there, I think. Would you bench Gordon or Archer? Dunburn to Simicast. I would start Gordon ahead of Archer. Morning, Ross. Start Maguire or Gabriel? Probably Gabriel, in all honesty. I really don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. I hope we do. I really do, but I can't see it. Is Son a good captaincy option? I'm not convinced. I think Chelsea are really good. I think people don't realise how good Chelsea are defensively. And I know I've got Maddison in the starting 11 instead of Saka, but I also think Newcastle are great defensively. I'll be honest. I think I'm going to get the biggest red arrow of all time this week. I think I've got players with difficult fixtures. I don't own Haaland. It's a bit of a mess of a team, my team this week. But oh well. You never know. Sometimes your team looks great on paper and it flops, and sometimes your team looks terrible and it does really well. It could be that I'm completely wrong and Spurs score 3 goals, Son scores a hat-trick, Maddison gets 3 assists, and I'm loving life. When are Spurs playing? Is that today or tomorrow? Let me have a look. Oh, Monday. Oh, God. Most of my players play on Sunday and Monday. Oh, I'm going to get a big red arrow today. Yeah, I'm not looking at the games today. That's going to be horrible. Monday Night Football, that's a good game. Monday night under the lights, Maddison brace, Son a hat-trick. It's the dream. Yeah, my rank is plummeting until Sunday. So wait, I've got to wait until Sunday for Bowen. Is Bowen on Sunday as well, or is that today? God, I don't know which days teams play. Let me just keep the fixtures up here. Okay, Bowen's playing today. So I've got to wait until Sunday/Monday for Maddison, Son, Salah, Darwin, Simicast, Cash, Watkins. Wait, so who do I have playing today? Alvarez, Bowen, and Areola. Oh, and then Trippier later. Oh, God, my red arrow is going to be filthy today. Ugh. Yeah, I need to log off social media. Saka or Diaby? That's a tough one. I'd maybe lean Diaby, you know. Gay's better than Trippier. Yeah, maybe. I think it's close. I don't think it's particularly obvious. They both have things that the other one doesn't have. Bench one of Bowen, Saka, Son, or Watkins. I would definitely wouldn't bench Son or Watkins. I would bench Saka because that's what I'm doing. But if you look at the points projections, it's probably Bowen that should be benched of those players there. So if you trust me, Saka. If you trust the points projections, Bowen would be the way that I would go there. Mikey says, Captain Darwin right now if you're about it. I would love to. I really would love to. Oh, I really would love to. Vcast says, play Burn/Taylor or transfer Solanke to Edouard. I quite like Solanke to Edouard if it's free. Only if it's free, though. I'm predicting Alvarez outscores Haaland today. Adam, if that happens, the joy that I would feel, only if Haaland... I wouldn't feel great if sort of Alvarez scores 24 and Haaland scores 20. I need Alvarez to outscore and Haaland to be quiet. But yes, that would be the dream. KG says, Maddison. See, remember, KG, I told you I would remember. Maddison or Bowen? I think Bowen ahead of Maddison for me. Just about Bowen ahead of Maddison. Adit says, start Palmer or Saka? I would start Palmer. No, would I? Yeah, I would. I'd start Palmer. And then Russell says, play Pedro or Adingra. Most lineups have Adingra. I would... But João Pedro's on pens. I would lean João Pedro. Any lineup news? Also, would you get Haaland on a wildcard? Yes, if I was on a wildcard, I would 100 million % have Haaland. Because he's got a great fixture this week, and you can squeeze in other cheap players at the moment with Haaland in your team. So yes, if I were wildcarding now, Haaland would be in it. Any lineup news? Apparently Maguire, that was Maguire and Dalot. Maguire and Dalot start. And Bruno, apparently, some people are saying Rashford starts, some people are saying Rashford doesn't start. Lots of people asking about the Fabian Schär injury stuff. I don't have anything on Fabian Schär. It's just the fact that he's ill. I have no idea if he's out or not. I was just talking about hypothetically what would happen. What transfer did you make? Did you not? You rolling? Oh, you sold Gordon for Huang. Against my advice. God, my girlfriend's such a wind up. I say, don't do that. I would do this. And she's like, no, I'll do the other thing anyway. Outrageous behavior. And Burma will... Oh, God, we've got 2 minutes till the deadline. 2-minute countdown. I didn't realize we were that close to the deadline. 2 minutes. Get your teams locked in. It's too late now to say sorry. No, it's too late now to... That's such a bad joke. It's too late to ask questions. You've only got 2 minutes. Stop asking. Get your stuff locked in. Ross, we all know nobody is there. For God's sake. She is there. She is, I promise. I promise. Just woke up. Should I go mad and start Archer over Saka? No, Calvin. Archer sucks. His data is so bad. I would start Saka ahead of Archer. Bowen to Foden for a 1-week punt. I'm not a massive fan. I do love Foden, but I think you're just going to want Bowen back, and then that's 2 transfers to take Bowen out and then to bring Bowen back in. You missed my super chat. I didn't, Tathan. I answered your super chat. Oh, I've just seen that. Oh, £100 super chat if you promise to captain Darwin. The thing is, Tathan, I know you will because you always super chat loads of money. So I know you actually will give me £100. The thing is, I'm tempted. No, I'm not going to do it. Thank you for the generous offer, but I can't. Oh, I can't do that. I would love to do that, but I can't. Imagine being offered £100 to captain Darwin. Are you sure it's not Nanaraptor there? No, but I might be seeing Nanaraptor tonight because I'm going back home, so maybe I will. You've got less than a minute till the deadline. Lock your teams in. Lock your teams in. Quick. By the time you're hearing my voice, that may well be it. That may well be it. I think we're locked in. Am I locked in? Did I save it? It's too late to know now. Wait, let me... Yeah, I did. Thank God for that. I was like, I didn't actually refresh to check. Sometimes I make changes and then I don't save. Right, that's the way the team is then. I'm somehow benching Bukayo Saka. Don't ask me how that happened. I just need to back my own decision making. It's what I didn't do very well at the start of the season. Not at the start, actually. The start I did. But then they got to a spell. Because I was doing really poorly, I stopped backing myself. And the way that I back this is Saka is away against a really good defence. And I don't think there'll be many goals. That's it. Right. By the way, don't leave. We can carry on streaming for about another 30 minutes or so, and we'll wait until we get the team news, and you can ask me any questions you want. So there we go. Right, let me quickly tweet my team, and then we'll do it. Right. Oh, what does that mean? I've only just seen this tweet, chat. Managing City says, interesting team news, very interesting. Oh, I tell you what, it would never happen. But if Haaland was benched, I would crack up. Do you know what is more likely? It's probably Alvarez. If it's interesting team news, Haaland's never benched. It would be Alvarez, which would suck because that is my only cover in that game. Also, they might just have nothing. They might just be chatting nonsense. Or their team news might be, I don't know. It might be something like Rodri's benched and Diaz is benched. And this is a Man City account rather than an FPL account. So what they find interesting might not be interesting to us. It might be like Edison, Diaz, and Rodri are benched. Because that would be interesting team news. For what it's worth, I think Alvarez and Haaland will both start. Oh, I didn't team. Oh, I got my ADHD kicked. I didn't even tweet my team. Right. Game week 11. I really hope Alvarez isn't. Rodri's on 4 yellow cards. Rodri is not on 4 yellow cards, is he? Rodri's on 3 yellow cards, I think. Am I lying? I'm lying, aren't I? I thought he was on 3. I don't know. Game week 11 team. Rolling the transfer. Good luck, everyone. Difficult benching decisions this week. Saul Blankross. Shut up. That's my comeback to you. I'm happy enough with the team. Hopefully it will do well. Let me pin that to my profile. Someone asked for a bald 11 earlier. Wanted to remind you. Yeah, they did. I don't know if I could name 11 bald players. This is the issue. Ross, how's your PhD going? I'm about to complete my research project for my MED. It's going well. Thank you. Not overly well, but it's going well. Well enough. Haaland has twisted his ponytail out for 2 weeks. I twisted his ponytail out for 2 weeks. Okay. Haaland's not getting benched. As much as I would love it, Haaland's not getting benched. Yeah, there's no chance. I do think that if there is crazy team news, I don't think it'll be with the attack for City. How did you get a girlfriend? She watches my live streams and my videos, and then I found out she did, and I slid into her DMs. So basically, YouTube Riz. The YouTube Riz was outrageous. Ross, you and Stormzy should go on a double date, but you would need a real girlfriend first. I do have a real girlfriend. He showed her his plaque. A Manchester United fan whose FPL week hinges on Liverpool players doing well. Very interesting. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Like, if Liverpool flop, I'm in trouble. Loving the team colour aesthetics, Ross. Lovely touch. Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate it. Imagine getting rizzed by an egg. Yeah, it's true. Sorry, I've just been DM'd something, but I'm not going to repeat it because I think it's a joke, but we'll see. Someone just DM me City team news, but I'm not. I think it's a joke, so I'll just leave it. Rodri benched. Apparently, there are rumours that Rodri could sit this one out, but I don't think so. I think Rodri will start. Oh, I could really, really do with a quiet week from Haaland. That's what I could do with. I think it's a joke what I was DM'd, so I won't repeat it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway. Oh, sorry, I just smacked the mic. It doesn't matter. The deadline's over anyway. You'll find out later. Super chat, Raptor. Oh, did I miss a super chat? I did, thanks. Hey, Ross, how do you like your chicken tikka masala? Back here in India, we have real spicy ones and sweeter versions too. I love... You okay? Yeah. Okay. I love spicy food. So I don't actually have masala, I have madras. So yeah. But if I had a tikka masala, I don't really mind, but I would normally go madras. Oh, I really fancy an Indian now. Show us your girl, pal. Prove she is real. Can you say that a little louder so they can hear at least? Nope. Nope. If you can rewind it back 5 seconds and up the volume, you'll be able to hear her. Boo Man United, you need a new team. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. Come on, Ross, show us. I'm not going to say her name. My actual AI is there. She's not actual AI. ChatGPT voice. People say you sound like AI. Really? You do have quite an AI voice. Ross, do you prefer rice over bread or vice versa? Rice over bread. I would always go for bread. I love a naan bread. I love poppadoms. Yeah, I mean, I normally get rice and bread in all honesty, but I would normally prefer bread. Hey, Eggy Weggy, if you go to the sauna with your girlfriend, would she call you Poach? Don't laugh. Talking to his wall again. Do you know what? Give up. I'm actually really hungry. Do you want to order something? What are we having for lunch? It's up to you. Let me know and I'll get it. Your girlfriend sounds 13 years old. Oh, God. Aww. Can you sound less 13, please? Show hand so we know it's not alien. She's actually painting her nails right now. Do they look pretty enough to show? I can't move right now. Okay. She can't move right now. Let her cook, blood. What do you mean order? She cooked for me last night. She made a lovely chicken pie. Saley says, please give some relationship tips to my boyfriend. He's terrible. Your boyfriend gets slated a lot, Saley. I'm not going to lie. One sec. I need to cough. I'm a chef, Ross. Oh, please come and make me some food then. I would love that. When are we expecting Junior Raptor? Not for a little bit. When is the wedding? Soon, hopefully. I was pulling faces whilst I said it, but you didn't look up. I like it. Oh, no. How's your girlfriend's FPL team looking this week? I can show you. She sent it to me a second ago.
I went against you, but sorry.
So every week, we obviously discuss her team, and often I'll give advice. Sometimes I won't. This week, I gave some advice, and she didn't listen to me. So that's her team. Wait. That's her team. And
It looks absolutely nothing like yours.
it doesn't look anything like mine, no. She had Gordon, and she was like, shall I sell Gordon for Hwang? And I said, no, I don't really like Hwang. I prefer Gordon. So she did Gordon to Hwang. So there you go. Got my tic-tac. My teeth are looking nice. The Invisalign's working. Better than yours. No, it is better than mine. That's not even a joke. It's a nicer team than mine. She's got Haaland, obviously. She captained Haaland. Of course she did. It is just generally a better team than mine. But that's okay. You win some, you lose some. And I've lost this one. Your hat makes you look like you have an egg within an egg on your 4-egg, aka eggception. There you go. There's my egg out. Oh, my hat's stuck.
The subjectivity of this game.
The subjectivity of this game. That was like an English language literature piece.
I was just saying, there's some people saying it looks. Oh, I can't say that, can I?
Oh, some people are saying it looks good and some people are saying it looks bad. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. This is what you realise when you're a YouTuber as well. That people will either love your team or hate your team. There's no real in between.
I feel like nobody's happy.
It's a perfect circle. Tell that to my girlfriend. She says that I have a peak. She said my head goes into a peak. Like a Mount Everest, she calls it. She calls me Mount Everest, chat. Mount Everest. Because my head goes into a peak. You look much better without the hat. Thanks, you are the only person that said that. He would be handsome with hair. Chat, does that mean I'm not handsome without hair?
Someone said I sound posh, that's funny.
She doesn't sound posh. She's a Brummie. She's got a Brummie accent. What head polish do you use? Just olive oil. Ross, do you know you look like a bald Daniel Radcliffe? I get told I look like Daniel Radcliffe all the time. Why are you laughing? What's you laughing for? I get told I look like a bald Daniel Radcliffe quite often. Not actually the bald. I just get told I look like Daniel Radcliffe, but I get it. It's the beard and the glasses, I think. Why don't you keep your hat forward? I do when I'm out and about often, but the thing is, it's a bit rude, I think, on a stream. If I have my hat like this. Right, you can't see my face. How would your hair look if you let it grow? Not good. Let's just leave it at that. Just leave it at not good. Oh, big stretch, chat. Chat, stretched words. What team does she support? Do you want to tell them what team you support?
I'm a Villa fan.
A Villa fan. That was very enthusiastic. Yeah, because you're 5th at the moment. You're actually doing well.
Yeah, for once in our lives.
For once, yeah. Hi again, Ross. 67 points last game week. Now my team, Areola, Byrne, Cash, Gahey, Salah, Madison, Saka, Diaby, Haaland, Alvarez, Watkins. What do you think, Ross? Yeah, that's lovely, mate. Really nice team. I'm very jealous of everyone that has Haaland. I'm not going to lie. I'll just be honest. What are you laughing at now? What are you laughing for?
Sounds kind, just being like Villa, I'm just a funny icon.
Oh.
I'm just very disappointed.
I think Villa are a fine team to support. Dashmate has given a bald all-time 11. Okay, here we go. Pepe Reina, Dani Alves. Alves sounds weird as I said that, because I think that's I'm used to saying Alvarez. Cannavaro, Yapstam, Abidal. What a baller Abidal was. Keane, Iniesta, Zidane, Robben, R9, Neymar. No way to improve. Wow. Wow. That is some bald lineup. See, bald men are great. Does your girlfriend own a Villa shirt?
Yep.
She does. I bought her one for her birthday.
I have 3 now.
She has 3 now. She has 3 Villa shirts.
2 proper ones. One's like a weird retro one, and one like a casual one too. But
So 4 Villa shirts.
Yeah, 4.
Check you out.
Actually, no, I have 5.
5 Villa shirts. Can you ask your ALEXA which rank she is? What's your rank?
I'm 2 points behind you. 3 points behind you.
She's 3 points behind me.
I was ahead of him, but then he had his fun run. So
Fun run. Yeah, I had my fun run without it. I'm sure with Haaland this week, you'll be back above me.
maybe it's just you went from 30 points behind me to in front of me so quick. It was insane. So I must be around. I'm like 460k at the moment.
Ross, we know it's your mum next to you. My mum lives 3 hours away. It's not my mum. Sounds like Holly Shan. She doesn't sound anything like Holly Shan. Can you imagine if it was Holly Shan? No. Holly Shan's married with children. She sounds nothing like Holly Shan. When she climbs up to the peak of Mount Egerus, how does she celebrate?
I slap it.
She slaps it. She does slap my head quite a lot. Dr. Evil in the house. Looking good, Ross. Not Dr. Evil. Girlfriend face reveal. Nah. She doesn't want her little face showed off yet. Ross, what were your moves? I rolled the transfer. Not going to lie, you're pretty. Thanks. How much do you have to pay her, Ross? Only £60 a week, actually. Quite cheap. She said I could do with a pay rise. Rude. Yeah, it does look like Rashford starts then. My source would be spot on if that's the case. I'm not going to lie, I like this source. He's been giving me some solid info.
Did you want me to grab lunch?
What are we having?
Up to you, I said.
Do you fancy anything?
Not particularly.
I'd get McDonald's. But we're having Domino's later, or kebab. Can you have McDonald's, Domino's / kebab in one day? Chat. We're going around my sister's later, and we're going to have either a kebab or a Domino's. We haven't decided. Very unhealthy. Can you also have a McDonald's for lunch if you have a kebab and or pizza for dinner? Where's your fleece from? It's Under Armour. Oh, my camera's gone.
I like all the voice compliments.
People being nice about your voice.
Yeah.
I told you you've got a lovely voice. I've said this to you before.
I've never really thought about it.
Oh, I've got cramp. Bro, wear the cap straight for once. I don't want to. You can't make me. This chat puts me off of eggs. Oh no. Buy a camera already, Ross. I've already got a camera. No. What was my question? Did I say, is it okay? Or is that what I asked?
I don't know.
Because everyone's saying no. I think they're saying we can't get McDonald's. Chat, I think we're just going to do it.
That burrito thing. Or, what's it called?
Oh, the naked burrito.
Yeah, I'd have tortilla. Yeah, the naked burrito from tortilla. Or
Oh, what about the wraps and wings burrito?
nah, not feeling that.
That's the I don't like that.
That one makes
Oh.
so much sense.
I was pulling a face and it froze on me. That is ugly. Chat, my camera's just not having any of it. Sorry. I'll be 2 seconds. Do you have any siblings? I have one older sister. She's 3 years older than me. When she slaps Mount Egerus, does she say there's a good egg? No, but she will now. Ross equals Professor Xavier? What is that? What should I know what that is? Professor. Oh, okay. Just a very bald man. I don't really know very much about... oh, Professor X. Okay. I didn't realise that was Professor X. I didn't know his full name. I'm not really a big comic book person. X-Men. Yeah, I don't really know much about the X-Men. How big is your rod? My curtain rod? 2 inches. That's exciting to hear. Love all the egg puns today, chat. They're through the roof. You know what happens when Ross disappears off camera? Yeah, I just sit here looking at my screen still. Is it working yet? Yay! Yay! Rashford not in the squad. Your source was wrong. Oh. Oh.
Was that your reliable source?
Oh. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans start again. Fantastic. My source still says that he thought Rashford was in the squad based on what he's heard, so that's weird. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, apparently he failed a very, very late fitness test. Okay, fair. It is what it is. Well, we don't need Rashi. We can win without him. He's not been great recently anyway. You should have a nice light salad for lunch. I don't know about that, Claudette. I've been working hard on this stream. When do we see raptor babies? Oh, my babies will be cute. They'll be very bald as well. They won't have a lot of hair, sadly.
I have quite a lot of hair, so maybe it'll even out.
I was talking about you. You're the bald one. Bald egg. We're going to get cooked by Fulham. I hope not. I'm so hungry, chat. I can't focus on anything. Who do you think will start between Fatty and Pedro? I think Pedro. But everyone else seems to think Fatty. Maybe it could be Fatty and Pedro. Darwin Nunez. He came from Benfica to the Big Reds. I'm jealous. I would love to captain Darwin. What kind of sport do you prefer to play, or like gym or running? Gym and football. He's not fat, he's big boned. Me? You laughing? What's you laughing for? I'm not big boned.
So their shoulders.
Yeah, my shoulders are quite big boned. That's just sheer muscle. Ross, would you trade a beard for a normal hairline? Normal hairline? That's rude. No, I love my beard. I won't want to have hair and no beard. I don't mind being bald. What you laughing for now?
Claudette's been rude.
No. You'll be fatty if you double down on junk food. Claudette, it's outrageous.
Naked burrito's a good compromise.
Will you stop trying to push the naked burritos down my throat?
Or Subway.
Don't want Subway.
I'll take that back.
I could do naked burrito. I just don't think the tortilla ones are as nice as the wraps and wings ones.
We don't do naked burritos.
No, but just the burritos. Oh, you saying you don't want the bread?
I just don't really like those burritos much. Make me feel a bit nauseous for some reason.
That's all I hear.
I don't know. McDonald's or naked burrito, I think.
Hi, Ross. Do you moisturise your egg? No. Actually, sometimes. Not every night, though. Don't want it too moisturised.
Yeah.
I would say once every couple of days I moisturise the old egg. You ignored boycott MCD's super chat. I did what?
Oh, I did see that.
What was it? Was it a bad thing?
No, it literally said like boycott McDonald's.
What, super chat?
Yeah.
Oh, I've just seen that. Boycott McDonald's anyway. Why are we boycott McDonald's? What did I miss?
Oh, because of the mice, maybe? I don't know. No, probably me.
I didn't ignore that. I promise I just didn't see that. I'd read out everything. I just genuinely didn't see that. If there's a reason that we should, let us know, and we'll get something else. Ross, do you sometimes slip off your pillow? Yes. The mice. What is this mice story? There was mice at McDonald's. That doesn't surprise me. Why would that make me boycott McDonald's?
People were like putting like boxes of mice into the store. It's for the
Lil.
Israel and Palestine war. It's like a protest thing.
Oh, I've missed all of that. Lil Bros willed out Nana Raptor to act as his girl.
No. Also, that mice thing happened at my local McDonald's, the one down the road.
Did it?
Disgusting, yeah.
Are you getting egg in your burrito? No, Finners, I'm not. I'm getting egg in my burrito. That would be... Do you know what, though? I did once have an egg on a pizza. Fried egg.
Oh, nice.
In Italy. It's like a carbonara-style pizza. It was nice. Ross, what's your worst sports/gym injury? Oh, good question. I tore the ligaments in my ankle. That was quite painful. But honestly, probably fracturing my scaphoid. So you got a little bone here. And when you fracture it, it is painful. Like really painful. And I was in a cast. And when they cast you, and when you fractured your scaphoid, they cast your thumb like massively away from your wrist like that. So I was just in a cast on my right hand for like so long. And it was so achy and horrible. Ross, what level of football did you play up to? Prem level. Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea were the 3 Prem teams that I played for. Go to Pudding Pantry for brunch. What's that? Oof. Are you from London? I'm from Essex, but it's right next to London. Like I am as close to London as you can be in Essex, pretty much. So yeah, let's say I'm from London, but I'm actually from Essex. How old are you now? I'm 26 now. Do you let your girl rub your head like Rory Delap does before a long throw? What, like with the towel? Shine it and then throw it. She'd love that. Saw you chatting with a female on the bus on Thursday. I hope that was your missus, you naughty egg. Do you know what, Jack? Firstly, it was. We went on the bus to my university. Secondly, imagine if it wasn't my missus and you've just called me out and my missus is clearly right there watching the stream. You just called me out, Jack. Where's bros before hoes? No, that was. Yeah, she was on the bus with me. We went to university. How old is your girlfriend? She's 22 in 5 days.
You just exposed my birthday.
Yeah. Why? She's 22 next week. And I'm 26 before you say half your age and all of this nonsense. No, not nonce. What? I knew as soon as I said that, there were going to be comments saying like nonce. Fun fact, porro means spliff in Spanish, does it? Wild age gap. It's not a wild, it's a 4-year age gap. It's not. No. For God's sake.
Who cares?
I don't care, but they're still calling me a nonce. Ross just got exposed. No, I didn't. I'm 26. Stop this. Until she's 22, she's 21. That's true, yeah.
They probably think I'm an undergrad when I'm not.
No, she's not. She's a postgrad. She's not an undergrad. Sleeping with the lecturer for those grades. She's not my student. She goes to a different university. She's not my student. That would be a bit weird. Lineups are out. Cool, let's have a look. Oh, I've got no camera on here. One sec. There you go. Oh, this obsession with playing Anthony in every game. I want to cry. If I see that face in one more lineup. So bad. Why isn't Palistri starting? Why isn't Mount starting? That is an awful team. I hate it.
I'm really sorry.
We're so bad. I give up. I honestly give up. I don't even want to look at that team. It's upsetting me. There you go. Go back here. Just start Palistri, Hoyland, and Garnacho. A young, fiery front three. Just do it. What is your girl studying? She's doing medical stuff in the medical field. My own personal doctor. So I don't have to go to the GP.
I'm not going to be a doctor.
No, I bet you are pretty much for me.
Yeah, I can't be bothered to explain.
No, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I thought. When did you meet? A few months back. Does your girlfriend watch Friends, Ross, or is she too young? She doesn't, but not because she's too young, just because she didn't watch Friends. Very sad about Matthew Perry, by the way. Yeah, that was pretty devastating news. I mean, I've watched Friends maybe 3 times start to finish. I'm not like a Friends super fan, but it's still pretty sad. Hardcore Ali says, Ross, I recently finished my postgraduate in comms in Newcastle. Lovely stuff, mate. Congrats. She must go to uni of then. Is she brainy? No, she's not in Nottingham. But she is brainy, but not Nottingham.
I go to a uni off, though.
You do, but not Nottingham. How long have you I need to just get my leg bent up here. How long have you guys been not living together? I just banged my knee. How long have you guys been together? 2 months. 2 months. University of Derby? No.
No.
Don't laugh.
Sorry, that was rude.
That was elitist.
Sorry.
Did you finish uni or you dropped off? No, I'm still doing uni right now. To bring this closer to me, don't I? There you go. Predictions for this week. I need to do Super 6. I'm not going to do all the predictions, but you can help me do Super 6. Okay. First prediction. Man City versus Bournemouth. Man City versus Bournemouth. What are we predicting? After I've done these predictions, I'm going to go, by the way, because we need to get food.
It's not his first girlfriend. Can't talk now. What match did you just say?
Man City, Bournemouth.
Oh, 4-0.
I'm going optimistic and saying City will only score 4. Okay. Next game is Everton versus Brighton. Everton versus Brighton. Everton.
2-1 to Brighton. Oh. We are twins.
Everton versus Brighton. Do you see how quickly I skipped over the Man City game? That was for a reason. Cool. Lots of people saying the same as me and the missus, which is 2-1 to Brighton. Everton are actually really good. I wouldn't be surprised. If you told me Everton won this or got a result of some kind, wouldn't be surprised. But I think you'd have to back Brighton there. Cool. Next game. Brentford versus West Ham. What are we predicting for that? Brentford, West Ham. Okay, I've gone for a result.
There'll be a 2-1 game as well. To West Ham. Yeah. I don't know. I'll just go with it, but I'm not sure.
2-1 West Ham, you say? 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. Lots of like 2-1, 1-1, 2-2. I think I'm going to go for a draw here. I've gone for 2-2 Brentford, West Ham. I could see this being an equal game between the two sides. But I think there will be goals in it. I can't see West Ham battering Brentford. I also don't think Brentford are a good enough team to battle West Ham at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-2. The trickiest one probably of the week, Newcastle Arsenal. Newcastle versus Arsenal. Very tricky. Two-one Arsenal, 3-2, 2-0 Arsenal, 0-0, 1-0 to the Arsenal. I agree. I don't think there's tons of goals in this game. I've actually gone 1-1. Yeah, which means I probably shouldn't have started trips, but we'll see. I don't think there's tons of goals in this. Just in the middle, someone's just said 26, talk about a heavy paper round. We're not even talking about my age anymore. We're predicting the results.
You might be a bit behind.
Yeah, probably. Right, 2 more games to predict. Next one is Forest Villa. Forest versus Villa.
3-1 to us.
3-1 to Villa.
I might be being optimistic. No, we're actually a decent team now. I always feel like we're bad.
I don't think Villa are going to do great this game. I've got them winning, but I've got it as 2-1 to Villa. I did have it as 1-1, and I just thought, I think Villa have still got enough to win, but they're not great away. Forest are actually really decent defensively this season. I think Forest could get a surprise result here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Villa draw this game. I don't think they'll lose, but we'll see. I'll go 2-1 Villa for now. Okay, final prediction. And the only answer is 8-0 with a Darwin hat-trick. Liverpool-Luton. Or Luton-Liverpool, I should say, in that order.
I think that'll be a 3-1 game as well. I have a weird feeling.
Liverpool-Luton. 7-0. Unironically 7-0. I think if it was at home, I'd back that a lot more. But I think away from home, no. I've gone 3-1. I think Liverpool will score a couple or a few. I think Tsimikas will lose his clean sheet, sadly. I'd love the clean sheet, but I think they'll concede. So I've gone Man City 4, Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2, Everton 1, Brentford 2, West Ham 2, Newcastle 1, Arsenal 1, Nottingham Forest 1, Aston Villa 2, and Luton 1, Liverpool 3. Lots of 3-1s and 2-1s predicted here, but
So many of our predictions were the same.
yeah, I know. Great minds. Right. So, chat, I'm going to leave it there. I love you very much. I'd normally stay for a bit longer, but we're going down to London to see my family. So that train's in a bit. So we need to sort out food and finish off packing and stuff. There will be no transfer plans video. So sorry if you're watching this and you're excited for it, because I will be in London until Monday. But there will be a game week preview on Wednesday as per usual, and we'll get going with that. I love you all very much. Have a wonderful weekend. Fingers crossed Haaland blanks, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye, guys.